Shara, and welcome to episode 9 of Strange Seeds. Um, Thank you for joining us, either here in the chat or on the video on demand that you may be watching on YouTube right now. So we're glad to have you here. I am once again Veronica. I'm the game master, and I want to go ahead and have everybody say hello, and we'll do a sound check. Let's go with Alana
Hi, I'm Alana playing Chummer.
and Pharaoh.
Hi, I'm Faroguy, Pharaoh for short, playing the Shaman. And
And
it's been 9 episodes already.
yeah, it has.
Yeah, crazy
It's
to
been
think
we've
about,
been
huh?
doing pretty good. I think this may be one of the longest games I've run in a while. Most games tend to kind of spiral off at about 4 or 5. So Q,
Yeah, I'm Foxo. I'm playing Kenneth.
Kiddo, and Thomas.
Yes, I'm Thomas, aka Curator, and I'm playing Landris.
Great. Sounds good. Now let me go through my little spiel at the beginning. If you like what we do here, there we do have a Patreon. You can see the link down there. Um, and you can go there, and the more people who support us there, the more that we can do. Um, so and if you have any comments or critiques or anything, feel free to drop them in chat, or if you're a patron, drop them in Patreon, and we'll definitely be listening to them. Um, in terms of announcements, there also will be a very interesting event tomorrow, which will be on the Guild of Archivists Twitch stream, as well as in Cavern. Um, Former Res Eng G Buttle and character JD Barnes will be appearing in Cavern in the Watcher's Pub to discuss some new lore that has been made available by the DRC. So go ahead and you can go ahead and hop on that, and it will be recorded for posterity. So if you can't make it, then you'll be able to watch it later. Um, and of course, as usual, buy Cyan stuff. We're the reason they're here. Um, Also, we've got a little bit more from Pharaoh. So why don't you go ahead and
Hi. So as usual, my wife has provided the lovely background art. This one is called Star Maker. And my wife has also recently made a children's book. It is an Easter story about a bunny and its gang of ducklings. If you're interested, you can see her art on Instagram at Koi Lantern, and her Etsy shop is Ellipsis Dreams if you wish to see and or purchase some of her amazing artwork.
awesome, awesome sauce. Okie doke. So we had an exciting session last month involving cults and islands and angry native populations. So, Pharaoh, you're also going to be giving us our recap today.
Right. So we started off at a standoff with the villagers. They told us all of the terrible things that some Denis had done to them. uh, After we kind of resolved that a little bit, uh, Kenneth helped with medical tech. Landris showed up from his wanderings with a new book and joined up with us again. In the meantime, we kind of made a space for the villager with all of the supplies and tried to figure out what was going on. So when the cultist dude came conscious, we talked with him and learned some exciting stuff. That the seed that we're all curious about goes back a long time, originated with King Merta, and was intended to be the start of a new tree. He also may have let out that a bunch of the villagers that were missing had been taken to an age called Heller, which I believe is one of the ones that we have.
Mhm.
Um, in after that, we negotiated with Devlin and Audrey, aka Guildmaster of the Reliuma, for a new age for the residents of Kennelin. Meshavan went back to Denis in order to finish that, setting that up, and to get the age and sort of reestablish connections. Uh, Meanwhile, everyone else made friends with the Kennelites, and I believe the last thing we did was make get the Reliuma back into Kennelin to help with the relocation, and then we were going to head off to Heller to find the missing villagers.
Mhm. Okie doke. So, and I think that so you've been working on things on your base as well.
Mhm.
So that's all taken care of. So I wanted to start the game off with our significant milestone, since we're kind of at the end of one arc and beginning the other, or thereabouts. Um, and so we were going to talk about some of the changes that people are making with their significant milestones. Who'd like to go first?
Not me. I've been talking enough already.
Hi. Thomas, what's happening with Landris?
Right. Yes. Am I muted?
Nope.
Nope.
Perfect. I wasn't sure where the foot toggle was. So Laundress actually, so he had a slight thought because he would have been working on that journal for a little bit.
Mhm.
But it occurred to him that maybe we should actually do something that wouldn't make us look suspicious. So he decided to go and take his, actual guidebook and everything and make sure he filled out a prim and proper to the letter report on Sallow. I could get back to Tellin so that if Tellin came knocking on the office door, being like, hey, what the heck? We have a whole that'll keep him busy for like a week reading. Right. And during that time, while everybody else is sort of making sure we have creature comforts and stuff at the new age, he would have also taken the body in the maintainer suit from Sallow
Mhm.
and moved it to this new age so that we could actually, maybe figure out a little more. He considered maybe leaving it at that location he thought was related to the cult of the tree to let them know that, like, hey, we're on to you, haha. But he thought better of it.
Probably a
Because
good idea.
that might be a bad idea, and then Tome wouldn't get a chance to learn a little bit more about her past, possibly. So, and the other part of his milestone is he has now got a fair in research and a adequate in stealth to help assist him with writing better, because he
Mhm.
should probably get better at that somewhere along the way, because he's still trying to kind of get his way through it, for lack of a better descriptor.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So, are you going to be using your journey roll to produce the report to Talon?
I would say, yeah, why don't we do that? We'll do that as we'll do that as my journey roll to produce the report and make sure all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and it's of a adequate nature.
What skill are you going to use?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
My research is only a +2, so I'm thinking maybe not that. Um, I could I could use athletics to cover more ground in Sallow.
That might be a bit
to
of a stretch.
No, I think research is a +2. The only other one would be like a rapport to just try and no. Tellin hates me. Never mind.
This
We're
is
gonna do the
true. This is
research
true.
with a +2. I ain't getting rapport out of this one. Let's be honest. So,
Okay, well, it's going to be versus a 4.
yep. Let me doop that up.
Fancy schmancy.
That's a 2. So, yeah.
The final's a 2?
The final is a 2 because that's a net 0 there, and it's at a +2.
Okay, no. So we
Yeah.
can do a couple things here. You can either try to find an aspect
So
that you want to.
I can totally use neurotically cautious when it comes to performing evaluations of ages.
Yeah.
To get me a +1, or I could try a reroll. I don't know.
Well, it would give you a +2 if you
give me a
invoke the
plus. Oh, okay.
aspect.
Then yeah, we'll do
Since it's
that.
and that spins a fate point. That'll get you a tie.
Yeah, and that's oh man. All right. Do we want to succeed at a risk, everybody?
I don't know. I mean, if it's too good, he'll still be suspicious.
Well, last time we
I
succeeded
think,
at a
are we
risk
just
because
shooting for average?
well, so last time we succeeded at a risk with Landris, the HQ blew up. So
Oh well, actually, last session you also succeeded at a couple risks, and that's part of why some of the things that happened last session did happen.
it's
So
true.
Does make life exciting.
yes, it is.
So I mean, yeah, I guess we'll go with the tie and we'll see what shakes out.
Okie doke. That's one fate point there. Okie doke. Okay, Q. What is Kenneth doing and changing?
I'm gonna up notice to affair. That's the last time I added empathy at the base, so now I have space to move something up.
Mhm.
And I think the amount of horrible roles she's had has really impressed upon her the importance of actually noticing other people and things and what's going on.
Mhm.
Otherwise, she's been kind of self-absorbed. So I think that this is a natural progression
Sounds
for her
good.
to realize that maybe that's not the best if she wants to keep living. I also would like to get rid of the stunt access to Daddy's account
Mhm.
because I'm pretty sure her extracurriculars are kind of catching up with her. And if any rumors of this got out about the Rillima and their group, her parents, they would be like, not our daughter. Like, they'd be not okay with this. And I don't think they actually would want her doing this. Like, this isn't a proper caterer's job,
Mhm.
kind of a thing. They were hoping that she would just, settle down and like, live a normal life. But that's not something she's interested in. So I'm thinking that she and her parents are currently on the outs.
Okay.
And with this kind of stuff that's happening, I'm wondering if I could replace the stunt with something. I'm thinking of calling Devil May Care.
Okay.
Did I finish writing? I'm like, oh, I came up with this great idea, and then I squirrel and.
Well, squee. But yeah.
But I'm thinking it's kind of, I was hoping it would improve her experiment role.
Mhm.
Just like no longer having this basis like a safety net is actually kind of making her more of a risk taker.
Okay.
I think
So
also-
you're thinking that Devil May Care is something that allows you to get a +2, but in situations where you don't have, in situations where I guess 10 situations would be the case.
Yeah.
10 situations where you don't have a good support, or so it wouldn't be useful when things are calm.
No, precisely. So I think that's kind of what I was shooting for. Yes.
Okay, there we go. Sounds good.
Thanks.
Do you have a journey roll you'd like to do, or?
Yeah. I was thinking that I'm sure she would have gotten a tour of HQ of the new age.
Mhm.
I was kind of hoping that she could do some exploration and maybe I have an idea of something that would love to be true for this age.
Well, let's see. Let's pitch it. What's the idea?
So,
It's good.
I was thinking that maybe the insects could actually respond to different colored light. Like it would have been like an accidental dropping a fire marble kind of a thing and seeing a response, an unexpected response in the fauna. And I thought that would be really interesting if it could be like almost controlled or like somehow understood better using different colored light.
That sounds good.
Bioluminescence and stuff in the creatures. So I thought light seemed to be a good 2.
That would probably end up being an aspect of the age. So the question is, what skill would you have used to discover this particular detail?
I honestly think it would probably be experiment.
There you go.
Chance of +2 in that, but that makes sense. So it could have been like, even though it's accidental, I'm sure that she could have followed up on.
Yeah. Now this is a
And then,
calm.
oh,
It's a calm
sure.
situation, so you don't get your +2 from your
No. Definitely not.
But yeah, but this will be a difficulty of a 4.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
I don't know. Exploring that new age wasn't entirely a calm situation for us.
Yep.
Oh, hey, I got like +3 in the roll, and she has a +2 to experiment, so that's a 5.
There you go. We'll a little bit later, or if it comes up, we can solidify what the actual wording of the aspect is. But yeah, it's successful.
Yes.
There we go.
Ah,
Good job.
Thank you.
Cool. Oh, hey, Faro, what's going on with Mishavin?
Right. So given all of the new and exciting places that we've been going to, Mishavin has decided he should probably take a little bit better notes and do a little bit more research. So I'm bumping research up from a +1 to a +2. And for my journey roll,
Mhm.
there are these jellyfish in our new age in the underground cavern area.
Yes.
And Mishavin wants to figure out how to kind of harness either their I don't remember the details of the jellyfish because I honestly wasn't here for that session.
The jellyfish are definitely stinging. They come out as part of a regular sort of water spout thing that goes through the underground, some of the underground tunnels.
So what Mishavin would like to do is to use the some of the chemical properties of the jellyfish as they drift by
Mhm.
and use that to generate power for our new base in the underground cavern. So a jellyfish-based power system.
There you go. That sounds awesome. Engineering, I assume?
Well, I think at the start it would actually be research because
Uh-huh.
he needs to figure out what about these jellyfish could possibly be useful. So as much as I'd love it to be engineering, we're at the investigative phase.
No problem. This will be a 4.
All right. And that is a 0 on the roll, so +2 total. So let's figure this out. I don't have any resources or stunts right now. I'm gonna say I would like to invoke Leave No Stone Unturned.
Got it.
He's like at first it doesn't work out, but he's gonna investigate every single aspect of these jellyfish and not harming them in any way, but like sampling the water just behind them as they drift past and separating out every single chemical that they release. Maybe even getting them to like sting a sponge
There you
so he
go.
can get some of their venom. Just all of the different ways he can get chemical samples from them until he finds exactly the right one that he can use to make this power system.
Sounds good. So you're going to take that +2 and make it a tie?
I am, yes.
Uh-huh. At a tie, it'll probably be something that you're going to need to do a little bit more work on to make really foolproof, but it is
Definitely.
operative. So
Oh, it's operative.
it
Okay.
is operative, but it is flaky. It's it can have there's some erratic effects that you still haven't kind of nailed down yet.
That sounds exciting and also
It's in
frustrating.
beta.
Yeah, it's a beta.
Exactly.
It's in beta.
As
So
a programmer,
there will be bugs.
Yeah.
And
as a
different bugs
programmer,
than Kenneth's bugs.
I am always suspicious when my code works the first time, so I'm happy to deal with bugs.
Makes sense.
We better add in some circuit breakers too, so we don't fry any of our equipment.
Okie doke. So that sounds like Mashavan set.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke. Tome, what's going on? Alana, what's going on with Tome?
Okay, a couple of things. So I swapped out my rapport skill with a provoke skill. So I still have empathy. I think Tome is still sort of sensitive to the moods and intentions of the people around her. But at this point, she's a little too riled up to be very good at building rapport and has a little bit more of a tendency to provoke. And I also gave a +1 to her will skill, which used to be her highest skill, and then she had swapped it down to a much lower adequate, which I think we sort of interpreted as her sort of like losing self-control a little bit now. And by bumping it back up, I was just reading the uses of will, which says defending deeply held beliefs and standing up to threatening people. And I feel like she's gotten some practice with that.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And yeah, I didn't end up rethinking my resource. I think I want to come up with a new stunt at some point in the future and replace the resource. But for now I'm going to keep it. Which might or might not tie into the journey roll that I was thinking about.
Okay.
So there are two different possibilities. I think the more straightforward one is that Tome still has a lot of questions about what happened in the explosion in the volcano, or the hill that looks like a volcano. And now that it seems to have stopped erupting, I don't think that there is immediate danger there. She's definitely interested in revisiting that area with two questions in mind. One being, was what happened here like a local like explosive or breakdown of machinery, or was it an edit made to the age? Like, is there a way to determine that? And then the other question being, like, was this intentional or was this an accident, given that this person who may have been her father was caught in the explosion? Like, did someone mean for that to happen?
Okay. Oh yeah, we can run that journey roll sort of like a discover action where, depending how how well you do determines how many questions you get. We can do that real quickly right now.
Yeah, sure. Why don't we just go for that one?
Yeah. That's versus a 4. What skill are you using?
But it makes sense to use research. I have a fair research skill. Okay, so I got a +1, and then the research is a +2, so that's a 3. So I guess that doesn't quite cut it. You said it at 4, right?
Yeah. So if you want to look at your aspects,
This is, I mean, and I guess I feel like I've been making pretty liberal use of the mysterious origins aspect. That would be a little bit of a stretch, but I think that's the best that I could do here.
The other option is if you take it you can go for success, but what it would mean that success at a cost, and cost in this case means that there's something that you've got to do during game in order to actually enact it. There's more work to be done. So that means that it's going to be something that needs to happen during game. You're going to have to, in character, actually go up there and do some research and, deal with whatever's happening there.
I'm open to that. My only concern is whether that would be disruptive to our efforts as a group to kind of move on to Heller.
It's an option. If not, then you can maybe work on the next roll. I mean, then save it for the next journey roll, or maybe something else will come up in the meantime.
I'm sure everyone would be supportive. Just thinking about how the characters have been interacting with Tome, I'm pretty sure they'd be supportive of this. If any benefit to your decision making, Alana.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think these could be significant questions into the broader plot. So I guess I'll say succeed at a cost.
Okay. So that should, in this particular case, it's not so much calamity as in, what happens mostly to Landris. It is the fact that, there are things that, there's work that you need to do in order to make your journey, your project a reality. Um,
Okay.
and it might, be useful to, see if you can collect the group together and, do some quick research or something like that, of the area. That may be quicker than, doing it on your own.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So there we go. Okie doke. So, um, we've had a bunch of upgrades to your subterranean base in Laundress's age. What has happened to our cultist?
I think we handed him over to the Valiant, right? And he's probably still unconscious thanks to Kenneth.
Yeah.
I believe that's correct.
Well, I was just say, if he's unconscious after long enough for us to make upgrades to our base and everything, oh man, Kenneth, what'd you give him?
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's descended into a coma.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Oh boy.
Hope not.
But Amitz was went back with the Royima. Things the Relima is working with the locals in Kennelin. So what is the next step for you as a group?
I think gathering information from Kennelin before we move on. Because honestly, what we find could actually help us in dealing with Heller too. Like if for example, it was an edit to an age, yikes, gotta be
Mhm.
careful. If it was more like an in-person thing and it wasn't an accident, it would probably be good for us to be aware that there could be people actively setting traps for where we're going, kind of a thing, and then we can be more aware in the new ages that we go to. Whereas if it was just an accident, we could just continue bumbling along as we've always done. But maybe it would be good for us to know how cautious we need to be, or if maybe there might be some telltale signs that we can keep an eye out for.
Sure.
I don't think that you could describe this group as cautious. But I think
That's
I
fair.
agree it would be wise to at least check on that, if nothing else, to make sure that it's completely safe up there while the Kennelites are still gathering their stuff and getting ready to move.
Okie doke.
Thank you for backing my journey roll there. Why don't we, well, the investigate unless Landris is too concerned for our safety to revisit the fake volcano.
Right. Yeah. I was like, Laundress tries to be safety conscious, but y'all are just ruining him. But so, okay. So Laundress has turned in his report. I would say, in an effort to make things look normal, while y'all are doing other stuff, Laundress is probably sitting in the old office saying, y'all have, he's let y'all take a holiday until Tellin shows up with the next stage, so that he doesn't just show up when we're not there. So he's
Okay.
probably just kind of laying low that way, waiting for that to happen, but would totally just like have the D on standby. If you need me, boop, I'll
I mean, there's a couple options here. If you want to stay with the group, maybe Tellin will have arranged a time to come by, so that way you can still be with the group.
Yeah, that works.
So yeah, Tellin seems very interested in the sort of like, I wonder how you messed this up sort of way.
Yes. How did I screw it up this time?
Yeah.
We didn't beat anybody up in time to do a treat.
Laundress bingo, laundress screw up bingo.
Yeah. How many
Going for a
typos?
Yeah, it's like, sorry, penmanship. Penmanship is bad. No.
Yeah.
The maintainers cannot accept this sort of penmanship.
grammar. Mine is
And thus
perfect.
the first Dunny typewriter was born.
There you go.
The shaman, get on it.
That can
Okay,
be a
no.
thing.
So
Okay,
you guys are
actually,
going to
that's
be
a
going to Kennelin
fantastic
then.
idea. I want one. Sorry.
Wait, yeah. So I think we could do some research to try and figure out this, because also Laundress was working on that journal.
Hmm.
So there's stuff about Heller in there.
Right.
I don't have the
And
Discord easily accessible, but my notes are in there.
Yeah, I
We
think
might
I've
find
got.
more there too.
Let me go ahead and pull up um, the document. I can toss that into chat, the various chats, so people can take a look at it. Let me see if I can find it here.
Yeah, because we have the table, as far as Laundress is concerned, mostly figured out. I think it's actually all figured out now at this point, but we just don't know if it's accurate or not. But Heller was one of the lines on the table, so he would mention that too if we're talking about Heller and getting in touch with Kennelites.
Okay, let me put it into the various chats. I'm also going to drop it in the chat for people listening, so that they have a chance to take a look at it. Where's this? Where's my chat? Where's my Zoom
And
chat?
on the VOD, probably just drop it in the video description on YouTube. So look down there.
Yep. There we go.
For this someplace.
I'm gonna put it several different places. I'll put it on the Discord and on the chat, on the Zoom chat as well. So it should be in Zoom chat right now.
I can't get
And
to that, so
we can't do the Zoom chat either.
it's like 5 feet that way.
Oh,
That's the one detriment here. That's what I was saying. It's probably in the Discord if anybody wants to look.
uh-huh.
But
Yeah, it's in the Zoom chat and it is accessible.
At least the initial notes. So,
Right.
did you guys want to? Now, there's two options here. We can either do a quick, do the quick stuff, do the things in Kennelin, or we could, kind of go do a quick overview of what's in the document. We could do one then the other, whichever.
I think I would like to finish up in Kennelin
Awesome.
first.
Sounds good.
And then look ahead.
Are you guys doing any sort of preparation for Kennelin, or are you just heading over? I mean, besides normal preparation, here's my linking book, sort of thing.
Whoa.
I would recommend all wearing helmets, given the cave-ins the last time we were there.
Right. Yeah, I saved our butts.
Well, and I think we all need to stick together.
Yes.
Sounds good.
You can make us all hold a rope.
Well, no, it's more of like, because I was gonna say, well, if we're gonna split up, everybody should have their own linking book, but then the cult could probably get access to our linking book that way. So the better idea is just don't split the party.
There you go.
True.
So we can still just rely on a singular linking book.
Yeah.
Which of the linking books are you guys linking into Kennelin
Now-
with? Because didn't Laundress wrote a second one, right?
Yes. Okay. So because we've got a few of those laying around.
Yeah, because we gave one. Did the Relima have one now? Because Michelle
I
went
wrote,
back.
I wrote an extra one
Mhm.
for the Relima specifically.
Okay.
So we should still have two in
Mhm.
addition to what the Relima have. Now, what I would say, like my thought process is we should probably have a Kennelin linking book on us too, to be watching like periodically for the link panel to see if something happens to destabilize the age that way. So then we know our last trip out of here is our final. This is our final trip, just as a safety precaution.
Oh, okay. So just to keep if something
Right.
weird happens to the link, something's going on.
If suddenly the linking panel goes all rivet on us, we we ain't coming back after this time, guys. So get what we need.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
I don't know how well, because clearly I'm pulling just from the gate because Atris always had a Dunny book with him. He had his little red one.
Mhm.
So clearly, when he was in Kavir, he had it. So I just don't know how viable it is to check on a linking book while you're in the age with it.
I mean,
know
you'll
you
be able
can't
to
use
look.
it,
You'll be
but-
able to look at it and see if it's
Right.
if it would if anything's weird has happened. I mean, you won't be able to use it, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But,
I know we wouldn't be able to use it, but I wasn't sure how we were adjudicating that particular interaction.
If something weird happens to the age as an age, then yeah, like Riven style sort of thing,
Right.
there would be some sort of indication in the linking panel.
Okay.
The linking panel may not be very useful. I mean, I don't think there's a really good answer to what the linking panel looks like when you're in the same age. So
Right. That's yeah. As long as we don't have like the ghostly face in our linking panel and everything's going all static.
yeah,
I think we're okay.
okie doke. Okay, so you guys linking just directly into the village then, or?
I don't see why not, unless we have a place that's closer. I don't-
That's closest, I think.
Yeah.
So I think Landris's linking books are to that spot kind of nearby. You can see the original Lincoln point, but it's not the actual one y'all went to the first time.
Let's just
So-
use the normal Lincoln point. I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
Oh, we know. Besides, we know the other one to that Lincoln Point was destroyed, so it's pretty safe for us to go to the original.
Right, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying. I don't think that
Mhm.
original Lincoln point. I think the original Lincoln Point book was destroyed, and the only
Yeah.
ones we have were the ones Landris wrote, where it was a little bit up the side of the wall, so you could still see.
Oh yeah.
Still close.
I think
anyway,
that's right.
So
Yeah,
I think we only have one book that hasn't been destroyed yet. There's the one that the Rebellion have, the one that was destroyed, and then there's the one extra copy that we have on us.
Mhm.
And like,
Oh, 'cause I thought I wrote-
stocks and Denny paper the way we go through it.
See, I thought I wrote a second one specifically for Toma to hold on to, but
Yes, you
I
did.
could.
actually. There's one. Toma has one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. You guys link in
Yeah.
into Kenlin, and you hear what sounds like a lot of arguing.
Uh-oh.
Sort of just kind of just in earshot, but just you can't quite see it right where you are.
In what language?
It is definitely not a language you understand.
Does it sound like the language we've been hearing?
Yeah.
The people of Talon speaking? Okay.
Do we just?
There's definitely raised
Okay,
voices
let them
and
do their
definitely arguments going on between multiple people.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Should we?
Kenneth's instinct is to be like, quietly walk away before anyone notices. Not my language, not my problem. Don't listen to her.
That
So-
isn't why we're here.
Does anybody have an empathy better than one?
Lol.
No.
I
Where's
don't have any.
Sylvia? We need her.
All right. Can
Yeah.
I try to like get a feel for, is this a hostel? Is this just a heated philosophical debate? Is
I'll
this
give you a
just
roll
like-
versus
is
a
it
3.
bad, yeah, I was to say, is this like a bad break? Well, what are we about to walk into?
A bad break.
That's a flat 0. It's a -1 with a plus. Lion just doesn't know.
Nope.
They're probably fine. they're okay.
This is
Um,
fine. We're all
They're
fine.
just, yeah.
We're all fine here.
Uh,
How are you?
I could try a quick empathy roll, maybe.
Yeah, go for it.
Be better than me, I'm sure.
I got a 1 + 1 is 2, so not quite getting it there.
Yeah, so you're not sure what's going on. So,
I agree that it's not what we came here for. As long as it doesn't seem like it's violent, and I mean, as far as we can tell, is the evacuation still happening?
you don't see anything on, you don't see any movement, like people like, you don't see any of the things that you would expect was that if the evacuation was underway,
Hmm.
people moving stuff around, getting, the area where things had been sort of, triaged, is, there's no one there currently.
Okay, it does worry me a little bit if this dispute has resulted in people refusing to go to Milraya or whatever the new age is. I think we do want to get people out of here, probably.
Yeah.
But either way, we'll be doing something that could support.
Yeah.
That could help ensure the safety of these people. If we go to the volcano, that could also be useful.
We're like,
Mhm.
we need to find an interpreter to find out what they're mad about.
Well, if well, it could also be a cultist scolding them.
Maybe,
So which
yeah,
you had to
good
decide which
point.
way, which
Well,
thing are
so-
you going to? What are you doing?
Well, Laundress wants to go and deal with the arguing people, but I'm thinking we should stick to at least like maybe 2 people. Because
Do you want to split up, or do you want to just
We just talked about not splitting.
I
parties.
understand.
This is true.
I know. Oh, I know.
You're the
But, like-
guy in the horror movie that's like, let's split up, guys.
yes?
I know. I was like, we're not gonna split up. We're not gonna split. Well, but what if we did?
Yeah.
If we just paired off, that's probably safe, right?
Let's hide in the shack with all the chainsaws.
Because I look at it like Laundress is okay, like beefy wise, and
Yeah, like, what if
Tomei's
it is a cultist? If it's a cultist, then we should do something about it. You're right.
exactly. That's If it's a cultist, we should step in. That's because we still don't know the fact
And
that
I'm picturing,
nobody's
like
at the
Wanderous
staging
and
area.
like Tenet like tackling this like dude like
Well, see,
picking him
last
up
time
and
it-
running away like
Yeah, well, last time Landers tried to tackle somebody, they tackled themselves. So
That was
remember, so they yeah, so Landers just has to kind of stand there most of the time. But no, that's what I'm thinking because Tomei's got the power to be able to like make sure Mashavan doesn't get into trouble. I've got the power to make sure Kenneth doesn't get into trouble.
Yeah, that's worked so well so far.
Kenneth has the
balls again.
Kenneth has the uncanny ability to be able to Facebook people with lightning reflexes. And Mashavan's going to understand better if murder rocks were involved. So
this is true.
So, what's your decision?
I don't know.
I think that we should stick together, and since apparently the people who can understand people's feelings, which is not Mashavan because he has no empathy, will care about the argument. I think we should go address the argument so we can go do our research in the volcano with a clear conscience.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
No distractions.
Yeah.
Is that what everybody going?
Sure.
Sure.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. So you head towards the argument, which is kind of the same direction you guys originally went into the forest to find people last session. And you come to a clearing, and it's a number of the people from the local people, and they are just in screaming arguments with each other. Gesticulate. I mean, there's sort of two sides. You can obviously see there's kind of two sides to the argument. It's almost like you have two, like if you were to watch like two protests like argue with each other, that looks like that.
Do we see the chief figure who had kind of been an interpreter for us before? I think that was one of the people who spoke to me.
There was a interpreter who was with the chief. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, do we see the interpreter around?
Yes.
Okay.
The interpreter is sort of watching things very quietly, not getting involved.
Yeah.
The
So-
chief,
Seems like
surprisingly,
poker
is
heads
not
on the
there.
bush. I'd be like, so.
Yeah, could we just kind of like quietly sidle up to the interpreter and not make it seem like we're intending to solve all their problems and be these saviors, just that we're a kind of a concerned third party.
Oh, sure. I mean, you have been noticed by some of the people, unless you're trying to be stealthy. I mean, quiet's one thing, but stealthy is different. Are you trying to be stealthy?
In this case, Toma is not.
Okay.
Tenet is not able to be stealthy.
I was going to say Landris is not stealthy.
Nope. But so you have been noticed by a couple of the people, on both sides of this argument, and they don't seem to be like alarmed by you, but occasionally they do point at you when they're in the middle of the argument. and then they'll point at you, and they'll point back towards the mountain, and then they'll point, that sort of thing. The interpreter looks at you and just sort of, completely, frazzled look on their face. She's like, they won't stop arguing.
What about?
Why?
A number of people have refused to go. The chief has gone to the new place, to our new, but there's been a lot of people don't want to go. They say this is their home. It shouldn't be stolen from them. But the others say, well, we're being given a better chance, and the chief says we should go here, and there's been lots of strong words exchanged, and their tempers just seem to continue to build.
Is that normal?
And there have been conflicts before, but we've never, this is pretty extreme.
Like, does anyone need a sedative? I feel like we're going to be better equipped to weigh in on this once we've looked at the volcano, because the whole argument seems to hinge on whether or not it's safe to stay behind.
Well, I was going to say, because we've already made some promises to them. We could explain that it's just not safe now. That doesn't mean it won't be safe in the future. Nothing is being stolen. We just want to ensure their safety, right?
As Devlin doesn't want them to stay in his,
right? Yeah, Devlin doesn't
pleasure
want them to
age
stay
anyway. So
permanently.
pretty sure they're hoping to send them back.
But yeah, this would maybe be a good time for like rapport. I don't know. I could try.
I mean,
to at least
you can try if you like.
It would have to be you. Kenna has 0.
I have +3, so
okay.
Somebody
They're pretty much focused on their stuff, so it's going to be a 5 difficulty on this one. They're very focused on, and wrapped up in their discussion.
Right. Okay. I guess, do we want me to try is the big question here, or do we want to just sidle away and go look at the volcano and totally look like we don't give a crap?
Mishaven thinks they have this handled. I mean, nobody's come to blows yet. They can probably hold it until we get back with some more information.
Are we concerned at all about the optics of us going to the volcano? Like, are we worried anyone's going to think that we are using it as a weapon? That they won't trust our...
I mean, as long as we don't set it off again.
Well, I'm kind of reading the room. They point to us. They point to the volcano. They point to us, and they're arguing back and forth. Like if we showed up and see, oh, things are kind of going to pot, and we immediately heck off and go to the volcano that has blown up at least once now, maybe twice. I don't 100% remember.
Once.
The optics of that might not look the best, but
I mean, so what you gonna do?
We could say that that's what we're doing. We're going to verify whether it's it's safe up there.
You want to say that to the interpreter?
Yeah.
Someone
The interpreter can decide whether or not they share that with the rest of them.
Yeah.
All right.
She tries to say it several times, and then does the sort of teacher thing where class. Everybody's like, and she kind of says things, and one side is like, one side of the group is like, good idea, but the other side is like, starts gesticulating, point, and she says, once the group over here doesn't feel that they can trust any Denis. They feel that they have been lied to by their Denis, so why would you not lie to them as well? The others seem to think it's a good idea.
What if we took some of the people who don't trust us with us?
As well as some of the ones that do. So that we don't get murdered.
Like I really hate to be the like, oh no.
Yeah.
Also, they might think we're trying to kidnap them because
Right, that's exactly.
Because that is the thing that has been happening.
So we can just say, you know what, like we understand that you don't trust us, but we've got to do this.
Sounds good.
Do
You
whatever
are
you
welcome to
think is,
come.
do whatever
You're
you
welcome
think
to come. Yeah.
make you feel better. Because at this point, it's kind of an internal dispute, and if they decide not to go, it's really not our fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have done everything we can,
Mm.
and it's up to them.
Mm.
So this is what
Look
we're
it
going
up.
to
Your own
do, and then we're going to go do it. And if somebody's got a problem, they can come and follow us, whatever.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like,
as you guys, you inform the translator who passes it on, and then you head on towards the back towards the village and then up the mountain. You can hear the arguments have sprung anew, and it at least as you get farther you get away, the less you have to hear it.
Yeah, that doesn't make Laundress feel any better.
We
Okay.
gave them the opportunity to make their own choices.
There you go.
If they choose to just stand there and argue, that's a valid choice.
Any of them end up coming with us, Steve?
No, they seem to be very focused on their argument and each other.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you kind of suspect that it's become more than just an argument over that particular issue. It's become
A greater.
greater sort of, we're angry about lots of things. We're angry about different things, that sort of
We've
thing.
been looking for an excuse to get rid of the chief for years.
Yeah, I'm sure that
This
faction
stew
is
is
voicing
terrible.
themselves.
Okay, so you head up the mountain and you go away to the sort of a mining shaft sort of opening that you'd come out of. It does still have some remnants of burnt stuff everywhere. Because from the explosion that happened when you were in there. It doesn't seem to be any new any recent signs of smoke, or there's no smoke or anything like that currently. But you can see like charred marks on the things, and some pieces of um wood that are burnt and that sort of thing. So it doesn't seem like anything new has happened since you were here last. So what's the plan?
Well, this is Laundress's first time here.
Oh, there you go. So Tome, what's Tome doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what checks we made when we were here the first time and what we focused on. I feel like we weren't able to get much information out of it other than those burnt journal fragments. I think, I mean, really what Tome wants to know is like, was there a physical explosive device that caused this? Like, can we find, because if there's a physical device here, it seems very unlikely that it was an alteration to like the descriptive book that caused it. So like, again, looking for sort of the center of the explosion, looking for any identifiable shrapnel, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Shavan wants to help.
Okay. So, are you guys gonna either you just focused on the one question, or is there anything else that you guys want to be looking at while you're there?
Well, I'm gonna try and see, because so there's like a cave in, right?
God, was there an actual cave in? I don't remember.
I don't think there was a cave in.
I mean, there's
Well, 'cause
definitely a
you
lot of
guys
stuff
were
has
there.
fallen from the ceiling. I mean, there has been an
I thought-
explosion, and some things are partially blocked and that sort of thing. So
Well, I
There's
thought-
definitely some falling rubble of some
I would
Yeah.
say I thought the body was found near a cave-in site, and it was going to cave in further, which is why we had to grab the body then. Or am I misremembering and I'm thinking about something in Unai?
I remember we
run
got
away.
there. We were looking around. Stuff was on fire. We found the journal in the body. Then there was another explosion.
Okay.
And then we're like, nope, goodbye.
Yeah.
And ran away.
All right.
there you go. Okie doke.
Okay.
So you guys head inside. You do find there's things that have fallen down from the ceiling. You know, it takes a little bit of time to clear out some things to get toward where you were when you found the body. It takes a little bit of time, you know, to kind of get through there. Nothing seems particularly unstable. But you're back into what seems to have been, you know, that sort of dug out chamber, where there was a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of, you know, just there's some broken doors. You know, the sort of thing that, you know, like, you know, the miners would have put in um, from previously. There's a lot of charred material around, that sort of thing. Um, why don't you go, everybody who wants to ask some questions, go ahead and um, roll. Choose a skill. Roll versus a 4. See how many questions you get.
Discovery.
No? Yeah, there's no skill that'll allow me to defeat my roll.
Okie doke.
So can I invoke an aspect for a reroll?
Yes. What's the aspect and what's the?
Well, so he's trying to use his athletics to get in and around some of this extra rubble and dig through the stuff that we probably didn't get a chance to. There are doors that probably lead to somewhere else, and trying to maybe muscle those open without caving in stuff. So he's being neurotically cautious about evaluating these individual things before, so he doesn't cause a cave in or get crushed by rocks himself.
It sounds like it more likely end up being creating an aspect as opposed to getting questions, but it might be an aspect that other people can use to either add to their questions or succeed their roles.
Okay.
You know, clearing the
Sure.
area up, opening up areas, that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah, because that's what he's trying to do.
Okay. I mean,
But
and
I
you
got
can,
a
yeah, you could
-2,
go ahead and
so-
spin for the reroll if you like.
Yeah, let's see, because I don't want to be minus on this. Well, oh, that's a
nice.
-4.
All right.
So I'm at a
Oh,
0.
God.
Unfortunately. Okay. Let's see here.
I
Q.
might be
What do
able
you?
to.
You might be able to help.
Sorry, no, why don't we go to Q first?
No, go.
Yeah.
Tell me what's up. What you?
Oh, well, if I were to use my survival skill, I think I would meet the skill check. That's all I was saying.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, let's start. What was your what's your survival plus? You know, what is the result with survival?
The result with survival is 4.
4. So you get a question there. Mashavan, what's your role?
So I want to look at where the explosion came from
Mhm.
and use my engineering to sort of look at blast patterns, to
Mhm.
look at where the explosion came from and see like what sort of size explosive could have been in there, or
Yeah.
maybe just natural, that sort of thing.
So what was your role?
My roll is a 0, which makes a total of +4.
Okay, so you'll get a question. Q.
I got nothing. I got 0 on my roll, and the only thing I have that's at a 4 is a craft, and I can't think of something that Tenet could make in that amount of time unless we had an idea of, you know, if we were looking for some kind of chem that was acidic or basic or something that she might be able to like scatter something around and create, you know, craft something that would react to
Maybe
that,
let's
like
well-
fizzing and help
well,
find
let's
you know?
let's have Tomei and Mashavan do their questions, and maybe there's an avenue that will open up that way.
Yeah.
So, Tomei,
Okay,
you got
so
the question. What's the most important thing that you want to know from the situation?
Yeah, so since Mashavan is focusing on the blast patterns and all of that, and it probably makes sense for our engineer to do that, I think instead my question is going to be, what was happening here immediately before the explosion?
Okay. There's a lot of the charred material seems to be paper or the remnants of paper, and there's some materials that look like tools that you've seen from uh, people with the Guild of Books using. So it looks like this was being used to store and process paper
Okay.
in book building.
And the paper is, I, I forget, can we tell by looking at or something whether
This
it's
paper is
the,
completely burnt at this point.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
essentially, there was a fire in a storage room full of paper.
Right,
So
right.
it's the
So-
paraphernalia that sets you off to go, oh, that's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
the insignia I recognize, or that piece of equipment is always used for.
Yeah, it's for binding
Right.
books and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Okay, so it seems likely that this location was part of the standard operation of Kennelin as far as the cult was concerned, that they would extract paper and then they would maybe bring the paper here to bind it into books. And that would also explain why the mountain had this very volcanic appearance, because it wasn't just a single explosion, it was an explosion that then maybe lit a lot of things on fire. And okay.
Okay,
That gets us
so
somewhere.
Mashavan.
So I want to know if the explosion was caused by natural phenomenon or an artificial explosive device.
Your best guess. I mean, you don't see anything resembling an explosive device, but you really don't see anything that would have, you know, you don't see anything in the environment that would have caused, a large amount of fire. So your best guess would probably be that someone had to have set things aflame here.
Okay.
And that the explosions and the other things were sort of just natural results of the conflagration as it went out of control.
All right.
So definitely caused by somebody.
Okay. That kind of goes with our murder rocks from the previous age, where they essentially covered up the mine with an explosion. They like to destructively cover their tracks.
Poorly.
Yes.
That too.
So one thing I'll say is also let's see here. Actually, both Pharaoh and Alana, just roll straight dice and tell me what you get.
While they're doing that, so Kenneth, did the murder rocks react to a certain chemical when you were testing them earlier with Mashavan?
That was Celia, and yes, they did. It was because
That's the stuff that made the nasty smell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
And
But could
stuff
you-
everywhere?
I was just saying, could you possibly use your craft to run a similar chemical test on the
That-
rocks here to see if they were murder rocks?
A chemical test would more likely be research or experiment than craft.
yeah.
Okay, so what'd you get, Alana?
I got a 1.
Shavan?
-2.
Okay. So Tome, while you're searching amongst the burnt materials, you do actually find some more some unburnt material. It looks like a portion of a journal, and it does look, the handwriting does look familiar in the sense of it looks very similar to the other journal parts that you found.
Okay.
This journal, I mean, what's you can read involves there being some sort of dangerous cataclysm, from someone that is referred to as the prophetess. It doesn't seem to be like they're referring to like an ancient prophetess. It seems like, it just seems like, the prophetess spoke to us and said, warned us of great cataclysm and something about the seed and, you know, the fate, the fate of all of Denis and that sort of thing.
Small stuff like that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but I mean that's about all you can make out from it. I mean, there's a lot of burnt stuff and a lot of little small fragments too, but they're not really coherent beyond that.
Mm.
This is where craft comes in handy. Get the paste and glue. Put the pieces back together.
Right.
So what you guys doing?
Can't tell whether these books were actually linking books or blank books, or whether they were just journals. Whether this is, and there's no obvious candidate for who would have lit it all on fire other than the body we found here. It's possible it was an accident where he was trying to cover his tracks, or else was trying to sabotage the cult of the tree, because we know that I have a note somewhere that there had been a lot of disputes between him and Escher. So we don't know whether this was sabotage or covering tracks, but it seems like maybe he just was trying to burn all this stuff and didn't get out in time. I don't know.
That is a good question.
Doesn't sound like we're going to get a whole lot more from being here, but at least the danger seems localized. It doesn't seem...
There doesn't seem to be any current danger that you can tell. There's there isn't even anything particularly volcanic in here.
Okay.
There might be at other parts of the mountain, you're not sure, but it's definitely not like there's lava tubes or anything like that. Just there was a shaft that blew up.
Right.
Okay.
And created a lot of smoke because there was a lot of paper burning.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So do we bother going back, or do we just go home?
Oh. Well,
We should
Landris
probably
wants to go back.
We should probably go back. We kind of said we were going to make, verify that things were safe, and we should at least keep our word.
Yeah.
Whether that will settle the argument, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Landris is probably why he just got a straight 0 at the thing he's best at. Like he's wrestling with that whole, like he's trying to atone himself, but now like clearly the cult of the tree has really done a number on the diplomacy between these people, and he wants to kind of atone the Dunny people, and it's really kind of messing with him that he doesn't know how to solve the problem. Like it's part of that. It's part of that. Like he's not as smart as he thinks he is, and he wants to atone, but he doesn't know how. And it's clearly causing him some sort of stress because he got a -4 on his dice. Anyway, yeah. So he would probably struggle a bit with just leaving without trying to find some way to diplomatically resolve stuff.
Okay, so you guys are gonna head back to the group and report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are still. I mean, there's still some arguing going on, but they definitely have. Things have calmed down a little bit, but not because not because any arguments have been settled. It's just the two groups have sort of moved away from each other and muttering to each other. Muttering to themselves. They've stopped arguing with each other, but they're definitely not.
Not on speaking terms.
Not on speaking terms, and you can kind of see one or two people kind of drift back and forth between the groups. Talk. Some people. So there's obviously some people trying to facilitate things and make peace, and there are a lot of people who are very still very angry and grumpy.
Yeah.
So the translator runs over to you. It's like, so now what can you tell us?
How do we phrase this? How do you say the volcano is probably safe, but the world itself might not be?
I would stick with just the first part.
Well, no, because if we just tell them the volcano's safe, then the one side's going to be like, oh, well, then it's just safe to stay here, and then...
I mean, do you actually have any evidence that the world itself is not?
No.
We don't have the descriptive book to ensure that nobody screws it up.
Well, yeah.
That
But But most people don't have the descriptive book to their own planet that they live on, as far as I know.
Well, right, I
That's also
understand
true.
that, but the cult probably has it.
Yeah.
And the cult could very easily decide, because they've made it very clear on multiple occasions with us that these people and their home is expendable.
Yeah.
So to me, that says if we start, like if we go poke around in Heller and find the key there, and they realize we found the key there, and they realize we might actually be a little bit of a threat to them, I think first thing on their list is Kettlin's just gone. You
I
know,
don't know. I mean, the thing is that with all that paper burn, like I bet you they needed that. Because if the seed is supposed to start a new tree, how are they supposed to do anything with that new tree without books? If they're paper binding, and if like I don't know if they took the paper that the people had given, set out, obviously short books, and if we beat them to the punch or find the next printing, like a binding area, they may be forced to reconsider Kellen being useful, right? They're short of paper. Somebody blew up their factory, basically.
right? But they could also easily write another age to get more paper, because the Kennelites are probably not going to trust them anymore.
But why wouldn't they have just done that to begin with? Like, why go to the trouble of like sabotaging, like using
Well,
word
because
drops
until
to
we
blow
showed
stuff
up, everything
when
was
you
fine.
could just get rid of a descriptive book, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm worried
why
that we're
use murder
responsible
rocks?
for this. I'm worried this
Yeah.
is our fault
Uh,
because we found Kellen and then we didn't go to it for some time. We just held on to it. We were like spied on. We saw shadowy figures. We know that our headquarters was broken into. I'm sure someone figured out we had the Kellen book, and
Yeah.
then they were like, "Oh shoot, we should cover our tracks before they get here."
And if we continue probing down that road, because clearly, if they probably know Tome has some sort of vested interest in this place. And if we leave these people here and then Tome has her complete like possible relation cut off, that's a bad thing.
True.
I mean, the
Like-
thing is, as far as my background goes, all we know is that I might be related to someone who's in the cult who has been described as Denis. So
Right.
I guess I'm like
And that-
imagining.
Yeah. And that body kind of looks like they're related to you.
Right.
So okay, so let's start with it. What exactly are you going to tell the translator?
A great question. I think that's what we were trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, just let's because they're waiting. The translator's waiting, and people are starting to kind of like, oh look, they're back, and they're kind of
Oh crap.
So
we would have probably discussed on the way over what, if anything, we were going to tell them.
I'm inclined to say that the volcano is safe for now, but the people who made it explode are likely to do something else to this place. And maybe be a little bit vague about the methodology. But that maybe
Until we catch the people who did this kind of a thing, that you're
right.
That's a good way to do it.
I guess might not be safe until we catch them.
Right.
So
until they're caught.
Move if you
Yeah,
could.
Yeah. Until they're caught, we can't guarantee that your home is safe as a whole.
Yeah.
Because they may not even have an idea of their planet. It might just be
and
their home, their continent, their region, right? Like we don't know what we know of their age, even we don't know.
Right.
Okay. So that's basically what you're going to tell them. Then it sounds like.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She passes that on. And there's definitely some muttering and so that. One guy stands up and and a couple, people on both sides kind of nod, and then someone else stands up and they're like, So it looks like the argument continues, but with a slightly different sets sides now. The translator says, well, pretty much, there's, some people are saying that they need to stand and fight, and others are saying like, some of them don't trust you, some of them do. So I don't think there's going to be a good resolution here.
What would it take for them to trust us?
Well, or what if we ask them what's more important to you? Like what makes this your home? Is it your neighbors? Is it your family? Because that's who you should be protecting if that's what makes it a home. If
Sure.
it's just a scrap of dirt that makes something home for you, by all means, stay and defend that. I think
Mhm.
that they just need to maybe have a think about what they're actually protecting.
Okay, so it sounds like you as a group want to convince them to follow through with the evacuation plan. Am I correct?
Yes.
Seems that way, yes.
Okay, let's get some rapport rolls out there, or
Uh,
either rapport or provoke, or something that some skills that you can decide of a skill that you can use to try to convince them.
yep. Let's not be a -4 this time.
Okay, well it's
Skills.
okay.
If you
Yeah,
turn
everybody,
that into
choose your
good
skill
though,
and roll. Who's going to be doing it? If you don't want to,
Okay.
if you don't want to help persuade, that's fine.
So I have a plus, or that's a total of a +5 in rapport.
Uh-huh. Who else is going to be given rolls?
My total using rapport is +1.
Tome? Nope.
No, I don't have my report skill anymore. And I think Tome is more comfortable with letting people stay here if they want to stay here.
Uh-huh. Q?
that was Kenneth's thought. It's like, not going to make them do anything. Plus, she doesn't have rapport. But yeah.
Okie doke.
They rolled really
So there's a bit
bad.
of exchange, and you're talking to the translator and that sort of thing. And there's a handful of people, about 5 or 6, who just say some angry things and then stomp off into the forest. The rest seem to be sort of amenable. And the translator says that they will be they've agreed to begin the rest to finish the preparations for the um, uh, for the evacuation when the other people arrive. The other people mean the other Denis arrive to bring them across.
Okay.
So we're at a point of stasis. Not everybody is going, but
That's okay.
some people have made their choice and left, and the others are like, okay, we'll do it.
Having some people stay, if only to keep an eye on things, is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
Okie doke. So we've got kind of a stopping point on that particular conversation.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? What's the next step for the group here?
Back to the office so we can go to Heller?
That was the plan. Yeah.
Oh, or is it back to the HQ so we can go to Heller?
Either
Right.
way.
Okay.
Okay, so Heller. Sounds like
Yes.
Heller is the next step. It's been about an hour and a half. Do we want to take a quick break and then we can jump into Heller?
Yes. Why don't we
That's
do
a great
that?
idea.
Okie doke. Everybody in the chat, thank you for watching. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. And then we will continue. Okay. Shara. Oh wait, I think, am I getting everything right here? Yep. Okay. Hello. Welcome back. Hope everybody had a good break. Um, and so now we're just going to head straight into the fact that we're going to be going into Heller. Um, Now, we've got our journal here. We've got Heller. Um, do you guys want to spend any time looking, talking about the journal information at all, or just we're gonna go straight into Heller?
So
Quick refresher would be nice.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think Laundress would point it out and figure, if we hadn't already, share the information he's gleaned from it.
Sure.
So,
So there are a couple ways that we can handle this. It being, it was an explicit set of puzzles. So you as players and characters can puzzle over those. If you want to use some of your skills to provide, questions about, to answer questions about specific things or whatever, I mean, those are all options as well. You guys get to decide how much you personally as players want to figure things out versus how much you want your characters to figure out so that it become we do story stuff. It's up to you guys, whatever you prefer.
I have the work that I did
Mhm.
with all of the answers here. Well, all of the possible answers I came up with here.
Yeah. So
So
Farah said maybe some sort of recap. Anybody
Yeah.
want to give a recap of what generally what's in the notes, or do you want me to read over them real quick out loud, or?
I don't think you need to necessarily read over them out loud, but a synopsis while I'm writing this stuff out might be good.
Okay, I am happy to do
Yeah.
that.
Cool.
These are all notes salvaged from a heavily burnt journal. There are a bunch of things with nitty numbers. There's a discussion of different parts of some journeys that some people made, in terms of hiding a number of keys, 3 keys in different areas, in different ages, and then also there being a hiding place where those keys can be used. Um, and there's mention of Heller. There's mention of Lost Hopes, uh, the 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 Age Lost Hopes. Um, there's mention. Let's see what else.
Ishna?
Ishna. Yeah,
Mhm.
all Heller, Lost Hopes, and Ishna
And
um,
Dunny.
are all part of the books that you were given originally from Devlin. And they're places that you haven't been yet.
Yes.
And Denny is on the list of potential places too.
Yes.
There's some information about angles and distances, um, and some information about particular hiding places.
Yes.
Yeah. Like for Heller, we know that it was the key is west of the Lincoln Point, and the key is in one of many pots.
Hidden in a pot in plain sight, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Tons of pots. So
Right.
want to bring a shovel to smash pots with.
They're full of
Yeah,
rupees.
actually for Heller, it's almost dead south or just south by southwest.
Oh, good to know.
Yes. Lost
Nice.
Hopes is basically north. Dunny is west, and Ishna is like north by northeast.
But I thought it said Lost Hopes was west of the Lincoln Point in the notes.
Lost Hopes. Yeah, Lost Hopes is. But
Lost Hopes, when the cemetery seemed like a good place to hide something. If anyone came looking, they'd be loath to disrupt a burial site. We'll head west from the Lincoln Point.
Well, then my math is wrong.
Oh dear.
that
Yeah.
doesn't tell us about Heller necessarily, right?
Because for Lost Hopes,
I have west written down, but I don't know why I have west written down for Heller. I can't do the tiny math. So
Yeah, I'm Landris or Tavis, I guess, what was your method for converting the numbers into angles and distances? I think I'm kind of missed that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
part.
So, okay, so the angle, so the distance we have all the numbers for, right? Those are dunny numbers, which convert into span, which then go into a formula to convert span into miles or kilometers. Then for the angle, we had most of them. The only one, maybe, I don't know. Because see, for Lost Hopes, I have 0 degrees / north, so which is 0 torrens. I don't know why, but clearly somewhere that got messed up. But so, for example, at Dunny, which is 3002, that winds up being 46,877 torrens, which translates in math to 269.4 degrees, which is west / southwest. So, in the hiding place being at a hand, there is possibly an iron sensitive hand locks like the other ones we've encountered. But I don't know why I got
Interesting.
0 for Lost Hopes.
Once again, you can ask me questions about stuff you might already just know off the top of your head, or if you want to generate questions, that's an option too. I
Oh,
figure also
that's why.
people in the chat who might be listening, if I don't know if you want any of their thoughts or
Yep.
as
So,
well, kick it
so
on in.
actually, here's why. Because if you look at the notes, this is why I have north for Lost Hopes. The compass rose has been meticulously drawn. 4 angles are marked in Dunny: 0, 831, 2212, and 3002. Dunny is 3002, meaning that Lost Hopes, which is the 4th age, which is the only one that we don't have the hiding place for, and we know it's a grave, is the only one that could possibly be 0, which winds up being north. Unless 0 means west, in which case then all of my directions are wrong.
Oh,
That's a
wait.
good question.
So, yeah. So we know that we have one of the angles already written here, and then the others, there's a 4-digit and a 3-digit, and I feel like that only leaves 831 and 2212. Those are the only 3-digit
Right.
and 4-digit angles.
Mm.
So we know where those go. Okay.
Which means Lost Hope has to be the 1 digit, which is 0. But 0 on a compass rose is north.
But sorry, why are we worrying about Lost Hopes?
Because it's the one that's clearly wrong. Sorry, that's the
Okay.
yeah.
We're focusing on it because if it's his math that's wrong, then because
Right.
I don't know
Got it.
why I had West down for Heller. There's no evidence that there's anything about Heller for West, so your math's probably fine.
Well, right, but for Lost Hopes, it should be west because it says we'll head west from the Lincoln
that's
point.
thing. So then it's like, so if we can figure out where you went wrong there, then we'll know exactly which direction we should go in Heller. Is that important? Because we're not actually.
Right. We know where we went wrong because the Lost Hopes one, which would be the 4th line, is burnt and it can only be the 0.
Why?
Because it's the one that doesn't have the hiding place listed, and the hiding place for Lost Hopes is a grave. But both the angle and the hiding place are burnt there.
Can't a center stone be in a cemetery?
Oh, the center stone's
No,
at
the center
the,
stone's at the amphitheater.
the amphitheater.
Yep.
Amphitheater.
Okay. Oh, yep, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
Sorry,
That was
I don't
borderline.
understand why.
So
it
I
has
don't
to be-
think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm just
So
trying to figure out why it has to be 0. Like,
because if you look, a compass rune has been meticulously
Yeah.
drawn. 4 angles
Yeah.
are marked in Dunny, right?
yeah,
So
but that doesn't mean that that's where the places are.
So we know the burnt one
Well,
is
so-
0.
yeah, we know burnt is 0.
Yeah, I see that.
Now at hand, right? That's something that's clearly not a grave.
One would
Right.
That's
Easy to find, or even past the
that's
cabin
Dunny,
walls as it's
okay.
on the Great 0 line. But see,
yeah, I assumed
wait.
that when I read 4 angles on a compass rose, I was like, oh,
See,
okay. It's just so that we can determine the next ones. I didn't realize that each angle was directly related to one
So-
of the ages. That did not strike me at all.
So yeah, the only thing is, so I guess at hand could be
Wait, it says
a marker on the grave.
if Denis, the Denis one is on the Great Zero line, doesn't that mean it's 0?
It should be.
Right.
I would agree there, but again, I guess maybe there's a hand on the grave, but
I mean, that's a good question there. What
but this
hand
is
means.
right. But this here, the illegible, and I agreed to hide the 3 different keys in 3 different ages.
Hmm.
Even if some found the lock or that would be far away from the hidden chamber in Dunny. Even if someone found the location, the locking mechanism is well hidden within one of the walls. The only locking mechanisms we've seen are the ones that use the hand.
That's true.
So that's where that logic came from.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit of an assumption there, but
It is.
it's a fair
I'm
one.
admitting it's an assumption, but it's
Yeah.
yeah. But it makes so the only 2 that might be wrong are the 3002 and the 0, which that just might be one is in Dunny and one's Lost Hopes. We just have to flip which age they are.
Right.
I think the other 2 are still solid though, because
Okay.
Yep.
As long as the
Yes.
other 2 are solid, we're going in the right way for Helen.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool. No,
I'd
that's
agree.
sorry.
For-
That's all I was just like, wait a second. They said it was west.
yeah. So for Heller, it's
North. Oh no.
basically for Heller, it's just a little over a quarter of a mile south or south by southwest.
Oh,
Right.
that's
It's-
super close. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
We should have a
Inside
look
one
at
of, and then we have to channel our inner link because it's inside one of many pots.
You just
Yes.
smash all the pots possibly.
We should check the panel to see if it's daytime or nighttime in the desert, because that should tell us what we need to wear.
that is also
Yeah.
important. So as far as Heller's concerned, we know where we're going vaguely.
I think so.
I think we can leave the mystery to aside for the moment.
Yes, we don't need to get into
Agree.
that right now and take away more time.
Okie doke. So yeah, I mean, looking at Heller, it is it is in the day. It is a desert. With sand dunes and such. It's definitely the sort of place you look at and you say, "Dune Arrakis, desert
The
planet."
spice must flow.
Yeah, that sort of thing. It's through the linking panel you can't actually you can see dunes and you see desert, but you don't see much else. The wind is blowing, that sort of thing. So. It
Obviously
does seem to
not
be about the
in
middle of the day there.
direction of the town where the pots are, like, because one would assume that there must be
Okay.
maybe a ruin where the pots are.
And let's just keep in mind that we have another motive here, which is that the cultist told us that Heller is where this kind of slave trade has been going through.
Right.
Yep.
So we might want to keep an eye out for any people of Kellen here who are in need of help.
Which does mean that there must be some sort of infrastructure somewhere. Not for good reasons, but it has to
Mhm.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other reason why. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I'll explain it another time. I figured out the other reason why I thought it was done, but that's yes. Never mind. Never
Okay.
mind.
Okay, so what are you guys doing to prepare for your expedition into Heller?
Very dark goggles.
Good idea. Yeah.
Um,
I'm assuming rations and water and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Anything special?
Um,
I'm gonna grab this sword over here with a blue handle. Get a green tunic going on.
There you go, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Is there any like desert color? I guess Denny clothing tends to be sort of desert colored.
Mhm.
I if possible, Tome would like to wear camouflage clothes.
Sure, yeah. There's there's all kinds of things available for exploring new ages. It's especially through the maintainers. It's what they do. Just wondering
I'm
if
just
you have
wondering
anything
if she
special.
should be actually dressing up in case they run into other Dunny. Maybe try to use deception instead of being super obvious that they're not supposed to be there. Maybe like looking more like a buyer kind of a person.
subtlety? What is this?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she doesn't really do subtle.
So
I'm wondering if because there's some people are going in camouflage, like that's great. That's a really good idea.
Hmm.
She's also thinks like, what if we meet somebody? Can she pull it off and maybe get some more information out of them by just lying about who she is.
That's always a
good idea.
possibility. You can always lie.
Yes, she can.
Hello, fellow cultists.
Yes. In the great
How
words
about
of
that too?
Penn and Teller, all you have to do is lie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not a good idea, but
All right, so
but she
Well,
could
we're pretty much
definitely
ready
bring
then.
stuff.
I
Yep.
think so, yeah.
I did have one small question.
Hmm.
So just as a emergency procedure. So while Mashavan was doing all of his testing with the jellyfish,
Hmm.
did he find a place where the jellyfish like always are?
They would have to be breeding somewhere under the island, but it would take a bit of digging and to get to that place.
So nowhere that we could specifically set up like a decoy linking book to go,
Oh dear.
so that if somebody was trying to follow us, we could leave the wrong book and parachute jellies.
I mean,
Eh?
the biggest issue is how to keep the book safe. Well, I mean, it would be a Lincoln spot, and it would if there was anything else there, it would be washed out on a regular basis. So I mean,
Right, no,
you could essentially like write a book so that they're in the way of the jellyfish geyser, the same way that Celia was.
right. That's yeah. All I'm thinking of is this is like the panic Relto. Like we're being chased. We're able to get somewhere where we can at least like discard the real one and just leave the dummy one behind, but then they link in to follow us and jellyfish.
But are we also linking through that book, or are we?
No. We have
No.
a proper linking book. This is the
Then
in
how's
case
the
of Cult of a
decoy?
Tree people.
Of course, I mean they're likely to be put out to I mean they'll still be there. They'll just be in a different they'll go out into the ocean.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if we have a decoy book that we're using for emergencies, it should probably not go to our home base age. It should probably go to a different age completely,
We
right?
should just go like back to our office, like lame.
Go
I
to
mean,
our
I
old office
figured-
books.
Sucks to be you. Goes to that.
I figured Bashavan could masonry up the tunnel that lets out, so they just sort of get stuck in a little hole.
But then they're stuck there. We might run into them or like find their
mean,
bodies.
not
there.
if every exit's sealed, but that's okay.
I mean this sort of thing will take time to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of your
No,
project, your
that's-
journey rolls, so.
Yeah,
true.
no, that's okay. I was more curious if it was something. I don't think we're gonna need it. We'll probably be fine.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Dun dun
We're all gonna
dun.
die.
Remember, I
now.
survived
Thanks
it,
a lot,
right? Yeah.
Walrus.
Yeah, we all succeeded.
He's like,
I
"Oh, I
succeeded.
guess we don't get to do 10. Huh? That's too bad.
Okie doke. So
Yeah.
last call before we go through the linking book.
So I'm gonna have a linking book to the New Age and a linking book to the Office.
Sounds good.
We agree. Yes, I'm pressing the part, like a different part role, or are we just going in desert, like Desert Bandit incognito?
I think that changing things up would be good. You should.
Okay, I didn't quite catch for sure. Okay,
Yeah. Go for it. Mashavan
Custom
wants to
jars.
bring
we're pretty close.
Shavin wants to bring what?
an umbrella.
So you saw Dune, huh?
I did not.
Oh, okay. There's a bit with an umbrella. It's great.
Okay. I want to.
think-
I will.
Mhm.
And now I'll look for the umbrella.
I'm so
Okay.
excited. Oh, I love that book.
Okay, so you link through. Wow. You are, standing on top of a dune. The wind is whipping past, kind of blowing sand across the dunes. Once again, desert planet. And the sky is clear. The sun is beating down on you. It's very hot, very dry. As you look around, you can actually see that in the distance you see what someone has set up, sort of like large stones with some sort of writing on them, in different directions. It just sort of like there's one kind of northwest, and there's one kind of northeast. There's one kind of vaguely southwest, and so. I mean, you kind of get the feeling that they're like marker stones.
Mhm. Which one's closest?
Yeah, there's one that's it's gonna I mean, going up and down the dunes it takes a little bit longer, but you can get there 5-6 minutes though.
Okay. I mean, start with the closest one.
Yeah, I mean it's to the east. And it looks like someone has placed a large tall stone, and at the top has it inscribed something in a language you don't recognize. But I mean, yeah, you get the impression it's it from where you are, you can see in the distance in that same direction another one,
Okay.
just far enough that you can kind of just see it's like, oh look, there's something on the horizon. So there's definitely something these lead to places.
Okay.
Okay.
So which
One
direction
question
are you
back.
guys going to be going from the notes?
Right. Thomas, you're up.
Just a quick question. There are
So-
no footprints in the sand. Are there anything that hasn't been erased by the wind immediately?
Nothing that hasn't been erased by the wind, but with the amount of wind, you're likely footprints wouldn't last very long.
Okay.
So for Heller, it's
Mhm.
90.7 span, which is just a touch over a quarter mile. And if the math is right, it's 32,527 torrens, which is 186.936 degrees, which is it's pretty dang close to south. It could technically be south by southwest, but if there are only cardinal directions of 8, I would say south would be the one to shoot for.
They don't the stones that you see don't necessarily correspond directly to cardinal directions as far as you can tell. The angles between
Right, so there
stones
was
is a
one
bit
south.
irregular, but there is one that I would
Close
assume
enough
that
for
you have
government
as a
work?
maintainer, you have something that can detect north on a regular
Yeah.
planet.
That was my question.
Yeah.
How do we
Yeah.
know which way is north?
The a regular compass seems to work appropriately here.
Okay.
And there is one sort of just off of south that seems to correspond.
Well,
So-
what's that?
Sounds good.
Let's set
She's
our
gonna walk,
heading
like,
and
super purposefully, like she's totally been here before.
Dun, dun.
so I would use the D
Plan.
or have Mashavan use his D. No, we gave the key back, dang.
did.
Yeah, use the D to track how far we've gone.
Okay.
Okie doke. I mean, you find another one, and you begin to find a trail of markers that seems to be pretty reliable, and kind of going in that same direction. You come to, it's slow going because it's going up and down sand dunes and that sort of thing. But you haven't made so you. It takes longer to get to the place than you might expect than you would normally expect. But there is some sort of so you find some sort of stone structure in the desert. It's only about a story tall, but it has on one side a much taller sort of windbreak wall.
Oh.
That is, in the direction the wind is coming from. But then there's, an actual, little, a little place that's kind of safe from the wind that it creates. And there's a stone structure there, and a sort, very sort of simple, it's not Denis in structure in architecture, but it's not, it's well made.
Right.
Alright,
It's
so-
about a story tall. Probably has a couple different rooms inside of it.
Oh, great. Multiple rooms of pots.
Wow. Anything to get out of this sun. Let's go inside.
Okie doke. Go inside. There are several small rooms. In kind of about the size of large closets. And then there's kind of this main area that you walk into that has some tables and some very simple stools. They're made of wood, but you're not sure exactly where they would have gotten the wood from around here.
Mhm.
Um, um, in here, since it's somewhat protected from the wind, there do seem to be a number of different sets of footprints, as if there has been many people through here.
So like a waystone or a waypoint.
A waypoint, yeah.
Mhm. Does this seem like we've gone far enough for this to be what's meant the place mentioned in the journal?
Yes, it is actually, since it's
How many
relatively
pots
short.
are there?
Um, there are four kind of these sort of storage areas, and they're all full up to the ceiling with pots. The pots seem to
I
have
like
many
those
different
kind of
things in
space,
them.
like- What kind of things in them? Sorry.
Many different things. One room seems to be mostly, just actual jugs of water with some sort of
Whoa.
like, they're jugs with kind of broad stoppers on top that have been sealed with wax or something wax-like. And if you pop one of those open, it's got water in it. There's another set which seems to be some sort of oil. There are several. In other words, there's several that has they're open top pots, but kind of stacked in a way that seem to have some sort of grains in them of different types. Um, and the fourth one actually seems to be mostly empty pots.
Are they sealed or open though?
Those are open. So we got
Okay.
2 sets of sealed, 2 sets of open. Um, Sealed ones are water and oil, and
So-
the
I say we go for the open pots.
I was
but
saying, he said he
Buddy
simply-
sounded super lazy.
Yeah, they simply dropped it in one of many pots.
Yeah,
Yeah, the open
you
ones.
can't simply drop it if it's sealed.
Closed.
Yep, open ones seem like a good idea.
Yeah.
okie doke.
Now, how do we go about this?
Now, it sounds like you'd be able to kind of go through, but Mashavan has this thing called "No Stone Unturned,"
Mm-hmm.
and so he might want to check every single pot just in case.
That is true. We need to make absolutely sure.
But maybe we should just
Mm.
start with the open ones and then
Everybody
go
take
the
a
other ones
room?
so that we don't get rid of the water. Like, sure, we can check them all, but maybe we
So-
should just start with the open one.
When we were on Unai, we used some piece of equipment to do a sounding through the wall and find a hollow area where the Kennelin book was. And I don't remember who provided that equipment. Maybe it was Celia or
Celia, yeah, it was advanced surveyor's equipment.
Yep.
right. So I don't know without Celia here whether we have access to anything like that. But if we could do some sort of like sounding, some sort of ultrasound on these pots, maybe that would be nice.
If anybody would be able to figure it out, it would be Mashavan.
Mm-hmm. So I actually have my resource, home lab, where I could declare a personal aspect for the duration of the mission. Some sort of equipment.
Okay.
So I would like to declare that something similar, some sort of resonance device where I can adjust the frequency and amplitude of the vibrations it produces.
Try moving the slider.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Probably different frequency. Okay, doke. Yeah, and that's a fate point, right?
No, this one doesn't cost a faint point
Ah.
because it's a resource.
At
At least I don't have it written down.
but
I
it says
should have
once permission or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
permission.
so okie doke. So you'll be in to set up your stuff there.
Yep.
I am gonna require an engineering roll to do the setup.
Of course.
And while he's doing that, what are the rest of you doing? What's Kenneth doing?
It's actually, I think she's actually a bit suspicious. I think she's wondering if this is like a wayside like station, right?
Mhm.
There's rooms holding stuff. doesn't like the main room doesn't really look like a place where people would stay overnight. Her Denny brain. So I think she'd be like stomping on the floor to see if there's like a secret door or something in the floor, like a place that's cooler because it's out of the heat. Looking for an alternate location where people might hide.
So
I might
you
just go in
have
there too.
you have an option here. You can make
Okay.
some sort of roll to see if there's something there, or if you spend a fate point, then you find something.
Fate point. I've got 3.
Go for
I've
it.
only got an hour left. What could possibly go wrong?
So you haven't seen me roll lately, have you?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there is definitely some of the stones do sound give you a different sound when you stomp on them than others, and specifically some of the ones that seem to be sort of that seem to have chairs on top of them or near them. So someone has kind of clustered the chairs around something. You could I mean the stones on the floor are laid out. They're not like grouted or cemented or anything. So you could probably pry up a couple.
Cracks between them are definitely filled with sand, though.
Yes, there's always that. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can we do that?
Okay. While you're doing that, what is Tomei doing?
I think I will be Tomei will be looking at the outsides, just kind of visually scanning the outsides of many of the pots and trying to, at a quick pass, identify whether there are any markings that were left, because we don't know how people in the cult would find this. If like it has to be reproducible, that they can give directions to each other about which one to find. And so I'm looking for any little mark someone might have left behind to be like, yeah, it's this pot.
Okie doke. Go ahead and roll a notice roll versus a 5. It's gonna be tough. While you're doing that, Landris?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly. So Mashavan's setting up his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tomei's looking for stuff.
Kenneth is prying up some
Kenneth's messing with the floor.
Huh?
Kenneth's messing with the floor. Nobody's trying to get themselves killed. Landris is pretty happy right now.
Oh well. Landris gonna
Like,
chill out?
He'd probably go in and give Kenneth a hand so she doesn't like get a hernia trying to lift the stone.
Denis OSHA. No. You lift from the legs.
Yeah, here's a weight belt. Like, let's do that. No,
Okay.
like more of just like physically, because I assume it's stone, it's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Just give her the extra
Oomph.
oomph to get it out.
Uh-huh.
We both have good athletics. They'd probably be good partnered up.
Yeah.
There you go. So Tomei, what was your roll?
Not worth mentioning. -1 on the roll comes to a 0.
Uh-huh. Okay, so Kent, you're doing you're saying what was Mashavan's roll?
Total of 4.
Total of 4. Okay. It's gonna take a little bit, but you can put something together. Partially because you're gonna have to be sounding between different things, and you're gonna have to do some probably it's gonna take a bit because you're not sure if the key is stone, if it's metal, if it's what material is.
Got to do some calibrations.
Yeah.
A few
It's
test
gonna be like-
things.
Yeah, you pull out one of the
It's not
pots and kind of
Mhm.
kind of knock on it a bit and.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And you have to sample one from each closet,
Mhm.
a few from each closet maybe to get the right balance in case there's
At least
variation.
3 to be statistically significant.
Exactly.
So okay, so you guys get the rock get a rock up, and there is in fact an actual area underneath. It's sort of a narrow sort of shaft made of stone with some handholds kind of carved into it. It leads down to kind of a dark area. It's a good probably from what you can see where you are, it's a good about story deep, and then it gets dark. So
Landers is about to get a lot less happy.
yes.
Well,
And it's like, woo, let's go. And it's like, whoa.
Well, on that note, would it not be safer to rappel down? And Laundress could use his stunt, set the anchor point to descend into this dark terribleness to make sure that we have a safe rappelling rope.
Okie doke. Can you
So-
reread what are the mechanics on set the anchor point?
While traversing difficult or hazardous terrain for the purposes of setting up a point for the group to use to construct a safe passage, example, a bridge, ladder, etc., gain an automatic athletic success of adequate. You
Okay,
may elect to roll if you wish to attempt a better level of success.
Is adequate for you?
I don't know. Is adequate enough to set us up a little rope ladder?
Seems like it.
I think that's perfectly fine then.
Okay, so Tome, you are looking around. You don't see anything that specifically seems to say, hey, this pot. The pots look like, there's lots of scrapes on the ground. It looks like the pots have been moved around a lot. And probably, a lot of the scrapes don't have a lot of sand in them, so it looks like people have been here moving things around relatively recently.
Journal lied.
So this isn't an ancient abandoned thing. This is something that is been in active use recently.
That increases my belief that there is a mark somewhere, because if these pots are getting shuffled around, they can't just find it by coordinates. There's got to be some differentiating factor.
Good
But
point.
someone else may have to find it.
Well, we can
Or
come
we
back
can
to
use
it too.
Nishavan's contraction. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got Mashavan's going to be still working on that for a bit more.
Enjoy sweating it out, Mashavan. See ya.
This is how research gets done, by golly.
Yeah.
Who's gonna? We've got your kind of you managed to put together a rope ladder of some sort.
Yep, I'm waiting for the Balrog to come out and devour me.
Yes. Are you just going down?
Well, yeah, because I have to go down to make sure it's secured at the bottom. So
Okay.
So whether it's like across a chasm or down a hole, I'm always at the bottom of wherever. So I'm by myself down here in the dark with a rope ladder bottom now. So then I'll give the 3 yanks to let Kenneth know it's ready to come down. And then probably drop a fire marble so that I'm not just terrified of the dark.
Okay. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it definitely seems to be a larger area down below there. It's a chamber of some sort. That is bigger than the one above it. So almost like pyramidal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
there's a ritual sacrifice going to happen somewhere near here. Uh-oh.
It belongs in a museum. That's all I can hear in my head. Sorry.
Yeah, I've seen this movie. There's predators involved.
Snakes.
okay.
Cool.
So, and there are a couple of chambers that there's a chamber there. It's got some hallways that go off of it. So both you and Kenneth you're going down too? Okay. So there's 1, 2. There are 4 hallways coming off this chamber. 2 to, let's see, 2 to the west and 2 to the north. It's sort of like they're at the corners of the room. So you've got kind of one in the lower, sort of the left corner that heats up of the west wall, and one on the right corner of the west wall, and then same sort of setup in leading to the north.
Right.
And by 10 stone corridor. No, sorry.
I've been in this dungeon before.
Yeah, roll for traps.
There's a weird jade face somewhere around here that's gonna keep me. Anyway, no, Laundress totally suddenly gets this spark of inspiration for a little tube with a reflecting lens that a fire marble can go in, so you can get a point light instead of a regular ominous. And he sends it off to Mashavan real quick as a D message. It's a very rough sketch of a very rudimentary flashlight, but hey, I had this idea, maybe for later. But
That's awesome. I like it.
But he's gonna look around and you found the place, so he's gonna let Kenneth lead the way.
Uh-huh.
He's just
That's a terrible
here for
idea.
Well, he's here for
What are you doing?
safety.
like you want to be eaten.
Well, he figures if he tries to lead, if you don't like where he's going, you're going to go off the other direction anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
That's
so
fair.
it's
yeah.
just easier for everybody if you take the lead.
Okie doke.
I'd be really tempted to put a fire marble, like if she had enough to put one at each entrance, like so that she can tell if one of the corridors they go around like circles back,
Mm-hmm.
and they would know that they're back in the same room, kind of a thing. Like if she would leave like a different colored one at each door.
Fire
Okay.
marbles in lieu of breadcrumbs.
Sure.
Yeah, just tick a mark so that when they would pick one,
Yep.
if they come out another one, well then they're like, oh sweet, this goes full circle. Great.
Okay.
Right. Perfect.
So just back to Toma for a bit. I mean, you've been looking a lot. There doesn't seem to be any marks that you can find, or at least any that make sense. I mean, you can kind of tell that some of the pots have been used for different things at different times. Like some of the empty ones have some grain at the bottom, and another one has some grain and some salt in it, and this one looks like it had oil in it at one point. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of active swapping around lately. So I mean, there's no guarantee that the pot that any particular pot would have been in the same place that it was before.
Or that the key's still here.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's always that too, but yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Mashavan. So you've got kind of a thing that's set up. It would be definitely easier to kind of hit one pot at a time as opposed to it's not like let's scan the area for
Mhm.
So it's definitely going to be a process of scanning each pot or scanning group spot and then trying to narrow it down. So it's going to be a long process, but you think it'll work in the end. It just means you're going to be spending a lot of time doing it, which is the sort of thing that you would do, because
Yes, it is.
yeah. So you're going to kind of just take yourself and be focused on that for a while.
I think so. Yes.
Okay, so that's going to
I
kind
think
of
you
keep
could-
you out of things. So I'm giving you a fate point for following up on that. That for essentially a compel on that one point.
Mhm.
So, okay. What else is Tomei doing?
Given the options here, I think it's very clear that Tobey's style is to just hop right down that shaft and
There we go.
join
Yeah.
Kenneth and Landris with the exploration. Get
She
out some
turns
fire
around.
marbles.
Now she turns around. Wait, there's a hole here now? I gotta get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd everybody go? Hey, hold.
All right, congratulations, Mashavan. Everybody abandoned you.
Sorry.
I'm doing engineering. That's okay.
Yeah.
Kenneth
there
had
you
been
go.
left up there, she would have broken all those pots already, and then you'd mad. So
Yeah.
would have worked eventually.
Okie doke.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
okay. So you guys, you three down there. What's the
Yeah.
plan exactly? I mean, you've kind of got the marbles mapped out there. Is there any specific plan, or are you just going to start checking things out? Just checking things out's fine. Just didn't know if you had a specific way you wanted to do things.
Yeah, I'm following Kenneth, so
I think if there is any passage that has air coming on it, would be the one she would pick first.
Okay. There isn't a lot of air movement down here. But so as Tomei, do you have any particular thing that you're looking for down there, or methodology?
This might be a dumb idea, but I think she's just gonna call out and ask if anyone is here, because she's first priority is helping anyone who might be imprisoned and need help.
Mhm.
And so she's just going to make her presence known.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely good echo, which means that there's a lot of space down here. Enough to give a pretty good echo. but there's no response. Um,
Okay.
so I'm just going to assume that you guys are going to start looking.
Yeah.
So, so to the west is actually some sort of living area. You know, tables and chairs, and um, you know, things that little things, knives and that sort of thing. Kind of, you would definitely recognize that. It's set up to do some food preparation and that sort of thing. Um, there is some sort of um, hearth, fireplace sort of thing, but it's not. Um, there's no air coming through it, so it doesn't. So it's not like I'm not sure where that the chimney would go.
Hmm.
But yeah, and there's another chamber with lots, where some people have set up beds of different sorts, um, that sort of thing. It's you know, there are things on the beds that are actual, bedding. So they're not particularly nice stuff, but they're not old, they're not rotting or anything like that. So, once again, someone has been, it has been in use recently. Um, so that there's that kind of sort of living area. Um, to the north, uh, the two paths actually move into different sections. One goes to another way down, um, and the other one actually has what looks almost like a small chapel.
Hmm.
Um, in the sense that it's very obvious. There's some sort of there are carvings in the walls. There is you know something that's sort of like a pedestal, sort of not like like an altar-ish sort of thing at one end. And there are several there are chairs in there as well. This room seems a lot the sand in here seems a lot less disturbed than the living area.
Mhm.
Um, so um, is there anything you want to do in these areas, or do you just want to keep following through?
So this church area,
Hmm.
is there any sort of tree iconography on the
Oh yeah, there
walls?
are trees all over.
What we call
Lots
the
of the
cult
carvings
listed
of
area.
trees. You know, books,
Does it
trees coming out of books, trees
does it
with
seem
books on
to
the branches.
match up with some of the stuff we've seen from the cult of the tree?
I mean, you know, pretty. I mean, it's very tree oriented.
Could we maybe look around to see if there's a hidden area in here somewhere with another kennelid?
Um, do a quick notice roll.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was hoping for intrusion, but sure. I'll do notice. I'm terrible at that. Let's see. That one's jacked. I'm not hopeful. Nope, that's I got a 1.
Uh-huh. What's Telma doing?
Um, Two things. She also doesn't have a great notice or surveying skill, but I think she is looking for any personal affects that have been left behind, and also I think she's thinking if Solia were here, the two of them would probably be trying to map the space out a little bit. So she's just taking some notes and kind of drawing a blueprint of the this underground area.
Sure.
So should I roll for a notice check, I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's just a 1.
Uh-huh. Kenneth, what you up to?
Kenneth would be wondering if despite the language they didn't understand on the surface, if with all the tree stuff down under, she I think is going to head back to the kitchen and see if she can either find some waste or some scraps that she might be able to identify as like bunny food. So like to prove whether or not like who is really using this space through their diet.
Let's make a notice roll there.
Man, good thing I went up one because now I only have a notice of 1. Yeah, that's great. Better than 0, right, guys?
Okie doke. So the
Yeah,
most you can tell, I mean, like I said,
consistent.
obviously the living areas have been used recently. This sort of area with the church, sort of chapelish area, has not been used recently. And then there's this other place that sends you that is another shaft downward. You just want down the other shaft, or
Go down, I guess.
I keep going down.
Yeah,
okay, you go down here.
goes down.
And this takes you to another chamber, and this one has some interesting things on the walls in terms of like it looks like there are areas in the walls that were meant for sort of like ventilation and such, like shafts of ventilation, but there's no air coming out of them right now. And on one end there are actually there are several sets of essentially restraints, cuffs, cuffs and that sort of thing that have been attached to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously this is a place for holding people.
Yep.
Yeah.
This place also seems like it's been in use recently.
Oh, that's not good.
Right.
So
Okay.
unlikely that they got a whole bunch of people down that narrow shaft unwillingly without everybody just falling through the shaft and busting some bones.
Well,
There's
yeah.
got to be an underground way or like a larger way to herd numbers of people. Like clearly this is more of a secret access point. But I'm
Right.
wondering if
Also,
there's got to be a way to move equipment and move people in larger quantities down here.
while bypassing the chapel, because the chapel wasn't used at all, and we got here through the chapel. So there's either a link-in point nearby.
Oh no,
Or there's
this is
another
not.
way.
It isn't through the chapel. It's the
There's
other.
2 doors on the north.
Yeah.
And one door went to
okay.
the chapel and the other door went down.
Oh, okay. I'm misreading the situation. Okay.
Yeah. So like
But I
there's probably
agree.
something in the cavern, or it's the other, because the west entrance we only went through one and it was a living area plus beds. or
Both areas were living
both of-
areas.
Both of them were.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. You're not going to get restrained people down
No.
tight ladders and shafts and things like that.
There's got to be another way into this place somewhere.
There's
The
got to be a
question is
way to
where.
get the ventilation going, because if they have this much ventilation stuff going, there's probably a reason. We probably shouldn't
Yeah.
be down here too much longer without finding out where that is.
Oh, I
Just
can always go get a maintainer suit and come back. That has air.
I mean, it's a limited amount of time, but yeah.
I don't know if he'll fit down that shaft in a maintainer's suit.
I can write another linking book.
Solution to all your problems.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Now
can
you're
we
thinking with linking
tell-
books.
Can we tell from the disturbances in this restraint chamber, like if is there pathways through the sand in the chamber, kind of a thing that maybe we can follow, and
Again, do like the tap on the wall thing.
some sort of directional, yeah, like, oh, there's a clear spot. Oh, it disappears.
I mean, Mashavan has something that might help with that.
Ooh, he does.
So with intrusion, if I look around, is there anything that's obvious, like as a secret panel or something?
Make an intrusion roll at 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Maybe we should go grab Mashavan. but it's going to be really hard to
That's a
convince.
5. I'll take a 5.
Oh,
Nice.
there you go.
It'll be hard to convince him to stop science.
Well,
Stop
This is true.
science, additional science. He'd be
Right.
like, no, but science.
I've got the science in front of me. What do you mean? There actually doesn't seem to be anything involving like a secret panel or something here.
Okay.
So whatever went on down here wasn't, like mass incarceration or anything like that. But
Well,
for
that's
some
good.
reason, whatever they were doing here required people to be very restrained, people to be restrained somehow.
Oh, that's good.
Reading this wrong, they probably link into this spot. That's probably how they move the people. The shaft is just so they can get and access the surface and get supplies.
that could be.
I mean, that's definitely a
Which
possibility.
case-
Remember?
Yeah.
In which case we might have company at any moment.
Yeah,
That's also true.
like,
Somebody's watching the descriptive
there's
panel eating
no
popcorn,
obvious
like,
way-
ah, watch, they're
Yeah.
lost.
there's no obvious way to get people in and out, then I would suggest that the link.
Yeah.
In which case,
I'll have
here's a thought. If that is a Lincoln point, when they talk about a Lincoln point in the journal, are they talking about the Lincoln point that we had in our journal, in our book? Or is he talking about the cult of the tree Lincoln point?
Right.
Like
Oh,
maybe
boy.
there's some jars down here then that like maybe this is the
Is
Lincoln
there a
point.
quarter mile south from here that we need to go in this pyramid?
I think we might be overthinking that part a little bit.
Because we did go north to get here.
I thought we went south.
No, we
we
went
went
south.
south.
We went south. We followed the right
No,
direction.
I mean like once we got inside
Oh,
the
yeah.
pyramid, we
Oh,
took
yes.
the north passage.
True.
So we
That's true.
could be going south to the other end of the pyramid.
That's true.
It'd be
Maybe
a
there's
half. I mean,
something
the distance that's listed would be is about, is quite a distance. It would have to be a really, really huge,
Yeah.
building.
Quarter mile, but a quarter mile is nothing.
It depends,
Like,
but 1,000.
like,
like,
sorry,
how-
like
how about
I'm
the
used to
200
living
feet?
on like acreages and in
Right.
quarter, I'm like quarter mile.
Yeah, but a single building.
1,300 feet.
I mean, that's about as big as a
It's
Walmart.
like Powell's, Powell's books, and Portland, right?
That's true.
Yeah. No, you could do a Walmart.
It's a city block. So it's not, to me, it's not terribly unfeasible, but
Yeah.
it was just a thought. Like I could be totally off
We-
base
we-
here.
we
and
are
it might
prob-
not even be a Lincoln point. So
Yeah, we're probably nuking this a little bit, but
So, with what you've got here, what are you guys doing?
well, how does Tome feel about this? Because this could be a place for the Kettleites where
Yeah. I'm not sure if she has gone down that shaft. I think she's feeling pretty creeped out by it. The things that I'm wondering are like, is there any evidence around there of bloodstains of injury, of harm? And also I'm wondering, in my sort of roguish way, is there any way we can like make it easier for people to escape from here in the future?
Mhm.
Or else just destroy it completely. But yeah, she doesn't want this space to continue being in use in the way that it seems to be. Like if it's in recent use, we should find some way to either subtly or in a big way sabotage it. But I don't know if she wants to go down there herself to make.
yeah.
I'm a little worried about leaving Mashavin alone on the surface now that we know that there's been like a ton of cultists through here recently.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's probably best that we return to him just because if there's been recent activity here, and I think we've explored everywhere down here now.
mhm. And there's no one there. So they've been
Right.
moved.
But now the paranoid lizard brain is like, but if it is a Lincoln point and they know we've been here, there's somebody coming from a Shavin upstairs and we should go.
I think we should go. We can tell Tome what we found in as gentle a way as possible, but also say that there's no people here anymore. Like
Yes.
clearly they cultists must have known this guy was going to flip on them.
Yeah.
And they like move the people through, or else they have no idea that we know, and so we move some more people in. But regardless, we shouldn't leave the man alone upstairs
Yeah.
because he's going to be staring at a machine.
Last-
and you
last
won't
time we
notice
left
someone
the shop-
walking up behind him with a big stick.
Last time we left Mashavan alone watching something while Landris was off doing something else, the top of our building exploded.
Only a little, but yes.
Okay, doke. So you guys are all coming back up?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Cue big rock.
Yep. So, Mashavan, you've been going through just methodically through. You started with you know, you started
Practice.
with okay. Let's see. We started with the water bottles, the water jugs.
Yep.
You know, and you're not getting anything very interesting from those. As people start coming up, you're just now starting to the jugs of oil. You pick up one of the jugs of oil and it rattles.
Ooh,
It goes tunk, tunk, tunk,
exciting.
tunk, tunk. Well, with the slosh, of course.
Of course. So I definitely hold this up to my resonance thing and just for confirmation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something solid in there.
Alright.
Something made of stone. Small,
Not wanting
Probably-
to celebrate.
probably dense, very dense.
Okay. Not wanting to celebrate too early, I carefully set the pot down and open it up and take a look inside.
It's pretty dark oil, so you're gonna have to reach in.
Oh, how
Or
exciting!
you could dump the oil into an empty pot.
That's probably a better idea.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Grab an
You
empty
have
pot,
empty pots, you have stuff. at this point.
pour the oil carefully, slowly into that, and see what I can see.
You pour the oil slowly. You hear kind of a clunk inside. You get most of the oil out, and there's still something loose inside. So you're just gonna dump it.
Yeah, I mean, we can waste a little bit of oil.
Yeah, you rattle a bit, and it kind of pops out, and it's it is a key about side. The same sort of thing that you would see for some sort of rich Denis guild master's sort of vault or something like that. It's ornate. It's carved out of something that's some very dense, strong stone, and it's not it's relatively recent make in the sense of it's not like ancient, so that. But it definitely is a key, yeah.
Have the Denis invented Nara at this point?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's not
Is it
Nara.
Nara?
Nara would be really, really dense, but it's
Yeah.
definitely made to last and to withstand a lot of pressures.
Okay.
But as I said, it is incredibly ornate, even for a Denis.
Eureka! I found it.
So is it almost too ornate? As in, this might be a decoy?
Nah,
Oh, okay, good.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
But
That was
But
my
it
question
could
to you,
be.
Thomas. Don't feel bad. I'm like, it's a trap.
Right?
do I need to check the rest of the jars just in case?
You probably should, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, leave no stone unturned, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Do you want to keep
So-
that fate point?
So I set the key aside and continue on.
Okay, so what are the rest of you doing?
I think we're gonna stand watch a little bit just to make sure he doesn't get hurt. That's what I'm gonna do anyway.
Okay, what's Tommy doing?
I don't know. I think she wants to sabotage something, but she's not thinking of anything super constructive. Like, does this oil seem flammable?
Yeah, we have
Likely,
oil,
yeah.
We have fire marbles. We have some wood.
I just see Tome slow as he finishes sounding, bringing these pots of oil down to the little torture room.
Here, help me with this. Get down there.
Yeah, I feel like this scene here is going to be that like Tomei just like irrationally starts to do something like that, and Landra stops her probably. I don't think I actually want to follow through on this. I don't think it would be very
We
effective.
don't want to use all the oil on the surface because what if the locals are using this and they have no idea?
Right. That's yeah.
Yeah.
The cult of the tree is using the stuff, and then all of a sudden they come here and they have no supplies. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think
that
Toma
would be
okay with that. No,
that would be mostly
right?
Laundress's point, is he would point out that place is pretty hard to find. So whoever normally uses this place doesn't likely know about it. And then pointing at the journal as well, it's likely this age is much like Kennelin, where either the people of Heller. Oh no. Laundress actually says, "Oh no," too. He's like, "Oh no." Like either the people of Heller are involved in the slave trade, or they're completely unaware of the slave trade. In which case, either they're
The
bad
hole in the
people,
floor is to like grab people as
or
So, Tome.
Landris just puts his foot in his mouth at the end, just like, oh heck. Like,
So Tome, you have this
Yeah.
this thing about not like this aspect that says don't tell me what to do.
mhm.
So, if someone were to compel that, you would get a
Yep.
fate point, and then you would definitely not be listening to the wise counsel of Kenneth and Landris.
Who may have also totally just given you the idea that maybe the Heller people are in on the whole.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Not liber. There's a word for it that I'm just not. I'm not smart enough to remember.
The dastardly plan.
Their oppression.
Yes.
They might be part of the oppression of the Kennelites. And yeah.
Can it notice
Hey, you know what?
you're gonna do it?
Well, I have no use for 4 fate points at the end of this session, but it does.
The 4 fate
compelling.
points will carry on till the next session. It won't go
Okay.
back to 3,
Yeah.
but
So I did have another idea, which is I was thinking of asking Landris to write a linking book in the prison area so we could use the linking panel to monitor whether people are being held there. And if they are, we could link in and pull them out and link away with them.
I can
You
go do
better
that.
Have proof, right? Like to maybe catch some slavers.
Yep, I can go do that.
Right.
I bring a blank book to. Yep.
so
That would
Tome,
be a
you are
really good
you are
idea.
resisting the compel. Let me be. That will cost a fate point.
Am I? And that will be restored by the next. That'll be refreshed.
Yeah, it will.
Right? I don't know. I feel like if you're compelling me to do something, I should do it for the sake of the. Of
You
the
have
story.
it is your choice as a player. You have the option.
Yeah, I think what I just suggested Landris to do is more strategic, but I think it's probably more interesting if I do the other thing. So I guess I will allow you to compel me.
Okay.
Um,
But I'm not writing a Lincoln book.
In which case,
Wait. Have we
can
got?
it suggest that it won't work very well? Like if she notices Toma doing something, she'll be like, it's not going to work without a source of oxygen, and suggest that perhaps they find out how to get the ventilation going.
But kid it. If we let her do it, it'll be an entire episode where Landris doesn't write a linking book.
Will be a first.
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, I mean, you will need to get some oxygen down there for a really good effect. So
Yeah.
So it would totally support Toma even if Toma wanted to go and do something crazy, because Kenneth's kind of like into something crazy.
yes.
Yep.
You don't need to compel Kenneth. But she
So
would
you're going to start
definitely
just transferring.
suggest you find out.
You're going to start moving some of those things down there.
So my thought would be to bring several oil jars down, pour them into the shaft where the prison is, and then after doing a bunch of that, kind of go to the end of the hallway farthest away from that shaft and just roll a few fire marbles. And so I think that is the plan, and she would definitely tell everyone else to clear out. And then just try to clamber up the ladder as fast as she can. But yeah, I don't know about the oxygen issue, and also if Kenneth wants to help, I don't know if there's any sort of concrete support you want to offer there, any chemicals you want to concoct.
Well, because it won't explode. Like it'll like
Well-
it'll lick up a flame, and then it'll go. Then it'll actually just be a death trap. So if anybody links in,
Yeah.
there won't be any breathable air, and everyone will just die.
I guess.
I mean,
like,
if you get a bunch of things down there and you get the ventilation open, and if you get a bunch of the oil kind of in a close space,
It will blow up.
it will blow up.
It needs.
And then we're all gonna fall down a big hole near a pyramid.
Oh,
Miss-
the
Miss
sand.
Miss Savage
be
just
a
sitting
great
up here
idea.
suddenly doing
I mean,
silence,
yeah,
and
you
then the
you
ground
would
just
have to
gives
you would have to
way.
leave.
You would have
Everybody
to
would have to leave. Tomei would be would have to throw the thing down there, but it's all doable.
Actually, I mean, for that matter, when we leave, we have to do something with the linking book that we think out through. So
Just gonna
well,
blow it up.
maybe, yeah, maybe just hold it over the explosion and link through, just as the
I
fire
still
marbles
feel
are
really
going down.
bad for the Heller people. They'll be like, "Go get me some water." Oh no, there's a
Well, see,
giant
the
big
issue
hill
is-
here.
Yeah, the issue is the more and more I think about it, we know that they're engaging in a slave trade on Heller. So the Heller people likely know something about it. So it's really hard for Laundress to defend them right now.
I mean, I'm assuming that while you're discussing, Tomei is just methodically taking
Yeah,
things
oh,
down
yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well,
That's a
Yeah,
good
it-
job. Do.
what's is Tomei gonna do anything about the what's Tomei gonna do about the oxygen?
Hamish Hoffman, can you get these vents open?
I'm almost done with the grain jars. Give me like half an hour.
That's enough time to take those. That's enough time for you to finish loading them down there.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, you could probably get all of them down there in that time.
I guess I should take advantage of him being distracted to keep doing this. Sure. I don't know. Should I just? I don't know how to open these vents. Is there a control somewhere that I could do a notice check for? Or
Do you have any engineering at all?
No.
Do some notice checks. Do a
I
notice
could
check.
do- Would it be? I assume it would be a stretch to do a survival check on this.
This would not be a survival. If you have intrusion,
I do have intrusion. Maybe I'll
Try
do
that.
Intrusion.
intrusion will work. We'll use intrusion for this. It's a little bit like cave robbing, like tomb raiding. So
Yeah. +2.
you wouldn't need to you're gonna need to spin a fate point to make it. This would probably be a 4. So
Well, it's a good thing you've got that extra one.
Do I at least see? Do we know where the vents are?
yeah, you can see them in the walls and such.
Can, instead of spending that fate point, well, maybe I would have to spend a fate point either way. Is there any way I can just climb up to them and open them physically? Can I just push
There's
them
some.
open?
I mean, there's some mechanisms involved that you can tell. I mean, you
That would
guys
stop
live
them
in
from opening.
caves. You know you can tell that there's some other stuff going on here. So you've got to figure out the mechanisms.
All right,
Well, I
I'll
mean, with a high enough athletics, you could do percussive maintenance.
I do have a good athletic skill.
Hey, try it. I mean, that'll be a 5, but you have to beat a 5, but you can try it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try just climbing up to one of them and like punching it,
Or levering it or something.
levering it.
Yeah.
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 So athletics.
Yeah.
It's just a 3.
Well, I mean, if someone can help you out.
And it also has athletics.
Yeah, so does Landris.
She was not opposed to this idea. She suggested the oxygen.
Yeah.
Landris is the one who's like, he's conflicted because he's like, oh heck, like
You get that maybe just to have that linking book good and ready, Landers.
he's writing it. Oh wait, no, we're not writing a linking book back. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
2 on my athletics roll.
So, since you're helping out, why don't you roll athletics?
Yeah, I did. I only got a 2.
But see, do you have any things that might help in terms of?
That could boost her.
Well, he's busy doing science, Steve. No,
Yeah.
on the screen it looks like you just looked directly at Mishavan and said, "Do you have anything?"
Oh no, no, I'm just looking at my other screen here.
Yeah.
Do you-
Look left, look right.
Yeah, it's like the thing from the Brady Bunch,
Yeah.
But okay. But yeah, I think you could, Someone's gonna need to spend a fate point in here. We got if it's gonna work, unless we get a really good roll. Is pretty much what it is.
I mean, I'm okay with spending a fate point now that I have 4 of them.
Yeah, I've followed under. You're still sort of in the "don't tell me what to do" stage, so I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Okie doke. Yeah, you managed to kind of lever it open a bit. A bunch of sand comes down. But then after the sand passes, you do get some. There is definitely some air in there.
Oh no! Now we have oil-soaked sand. This is a bad idea. Just waiting to happen.
Ooh, I hope there are some murder rocks around here.
Laundress is doing that thing with the paladins, like, oh, there must be an evil doer over there. Let me vacate the premises real quick. Pretend he doesn't know what's happening underneath this building.
And Tomei, if she doesn't find murder rocks, it looks like she's just fine with making them herself.
Mm-hmm.
Murder sand.
Like,
Oh boy.
Linking book ready.
Okay, so you managed to get all this set up and pretty ready. Mashavin is still working on the things though.
Science.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, are you going to try to, are you going to wait for Mashavin to be done? Are you going to?
Oh God, I don't think I'm in a very patient state right now. I think,
Oh.
but I don't want to link him out. I don't know. That feels. I think like, hey, Mashavin, we're gonna blow this place up in a few minutes. So do you want to hurry, maybe? Like we have the key, right? We have what we came here for. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean that does sound reasonable to not be in a place when it blows up.
It does. It does sound like I should probably
Leave.
I could
Pack up
probably
the equipment, maybe.
Yeah. You know what?
Can you help me carry this?
You got it.
Okie doke.
Oh no.
Run.
Oh, Kenneth's totally taking a thing of the grain, by the way. I don't
Okay.
know why, but suddenly she thinks that's important and she's grabbing it.
So, I think we finally discovered Landris's fourth journey aspect. It took 9 sessions, but I think we finally discovered it.
Oh.
Well, so because he's that maintainer and he's got that like babysitter quality. Oh no, this is gonna screw things up so bad. I'm so sorry. Landris has that very first one in, last one out mentality when it comes to like the dangerous situations because he sets the anchor point and everything else. So he's totally gonna let Thomas start this thing, but he's got to be the last one to get out to make sure the linking book's destroyed.
Okie doke.
Okay.
Okie doke. So,
much for so much for Laundress's eyebrow.
Right?
so
Like, it feels
Laundress
like
will
what
have
it-
to make Laundress will have to make a athletics roll at 5.
Yep. That's
Oh.
yep. But it totally makes sense. It makes
Mhm.
sense for him.
Yeah.
Like it's oh boy. So yeah, so let's get everybody else out first and then we'll do the athletics roll
So-
and stuff.
I'm gonna see. Normally, I would give you just for a self compel. I give you a fate point for that. Since we're really close to the end of the session, however, what I'll
But
do
also-
is I'll have you start off next session with an extra one,
Yeah, and
unless you
also
spend
that-
it. You have 2
I was
fate
saying,
points
well,
right
that-
now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
Well,
you
that
spend it.
aspect is not filled in right now. So technically it's gonna be an aspect next turn. So
It'll be something involved with this.
yeah, there we go.
Okie
So,
doke.
yeah,
So
let's get everybody else out and finish
Everybody
the
else
RP.
gets
so we
out
can
and-
end on a-
Tomei
Yeah.
is not leaving until she throws the fire marble. Like,
that's Landris is perfectly okay with that, but he's got to be the last
Sound?
one to make sure the book's destroyed.
Mhm.
Kenneth wants to hear the sound too.
Oh
Okay.
man, you're making,
Exciting.
oh
Like-
Landris, you're so hosed.
okay.
Landris
So,
holds the book up
I'm
and we
gonna
all
ha-
just like put our hands on it.
I'm gonna have Kenneth and Tomei roll athletics as well, but at a 4. But Laundress is gonna have to roll at a 5.
Yep.
Shavin is smart
So
enough to get out of the
Mashavin-
way.
Right.
Yep, Mashaman, you get out of the way.
I
Get his
know
equipment, yeah.
exactly what a safe distance is for something like this.
Yes,
and
yes.
I am at least twice that far away.
Oh no, you're through one linking book. You're a whole
Oh.
age away.
That's fine.
It's like exactly how far to be safe. nether age.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, bye. Wow, 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 wow.
I rolled a 5 on my athletics. So.
Okay.
Oh boy.
What's Tome?
Okay.
Uh, well, I got a 1. I don't. Is
Oh,
there
no.
Is there any way I could use my parkour stunt here, which gives me an extra +2 on athletics?
Yeah, I think that
I
would
guess-
apply.
Okay.
So
I
it's a
think you're up
three.
to a three.
Can I
Three.
give her a hand with my extra point? Can I give her my?
Not really at this
Yep.
point.
Yeah, I don't think it works quite like that.
Okay. Well, I've got a consideration here. Could we succeed with Laundress getting a moderate to severe consequence to make sure she gets through
Hmm.
of some kind of physical nature?
I think at this point, I mean, Tome would have to take the consequence of. Tome will
Okay.
need to take some sort of consequence
Yep.
if if Alana chooses to succeed with a cost.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I will do that. I think she would kind of put herself on the line for this.
Yep.
Oh, kiddo, what did Laundress roll?
He's about to.
Come on, let's go.
Making sure
Drum
everybody else
roll.
got out first. Oh no.
Remember,
Oh no. That's a 1. He
Ooh.
got a -3 on the dice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh boy. oh, God. Yeah. I think we're gonna see. Oh
I
boy.
know I once knew a man named Launders who had a wooden leg.
Yes.
Really? What was the name of his other leg?
Yeah.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah. Like I said, this was a compel, so I think it's just a consequence at this point to succeed. Like I'm gonna. Oh boy.
This is going to be a major cost.
That's gonna be a very major cost.
Well, if he doesn't
I'm so sorry,
succeed,
Laundress.
it's the ultimate cost. Like,
Maybe.
right, V? Like, if he
I
It
don't
doesn't
think-
have to be.
succeed, he dies. If he chooses to succeed at a cost, well then,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
succeed at a cost means he doesn't die. It
Right,
just
I
means that
like
there's going to be a significant cost.
I like the significant cost. That's. Oh boy. Yeah. So we get everybody linked through to the new age. Landris is like waiting. He's got the book.
Well, I mean, you guys are all running, right? Did you say you're going to jump into a linking book, or?
Well, so I was holding the book out so people could right? And
I got the
Everybody
impression
got
everybody
wrong.
was running out.
no.
I
no,
thought
Kim
that-
was back with me.
Okay.
Tome
Basically
was
standing at
running.
the top of the
Yeah.
shaft. right?
Okay.
'Cause we
Yeah,
wanted to hear
Tome
the
was
wall.
running, so Tome had to run, and I had to wait for her to get
Okay.
through before I could. So the book is probably burning in my hands as Tome finishes going through. Then that's what I get to link through once the book is like actively on fire. So
Okay.
yeah.
So,
So-
what books do you have on you at the moment?
Well, the one in my
yeah.
hand is to the New Age.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I have on me is to the Office, and probably I think I carry 2 blank ones, just in case. We didn't use one of them this time, so I still have 2 blank ones on me.
Okie doke. So, okay, so I have a couple of different things here. Okay. Okay. So, since you both succeed at costs, you do actually make it through the linking book.
Well, that's good at least.
Tome, links through
Yeah.
at sort of a weird angle. Because she was kind of doing the leaping thing for it.
Mhm.
And your guys are linking through to the office, right?
No, to the New Age.
To the New
Yes,
Age. Okay.
To the New Age, because that's where we're going, because that's where all the supplies are.
Okay. So Tome kind of links through and just knocks over a bunch of stuff, runs into the tree, into a bunch of the tree roots and stuff like that. And so definitely you're going to have a starting next session. You will have a consequence. a moderate consequence. I'll come up with the wording later. Laundress leaks through. He leaks through. He is on fire.
Oh dear.
So he is like he's on fire. His bags are on fire. His clothes are on fire. Is somebody going to do something?
I shove him into the river.
Shoot.
You shove him into one of the water spouts.
Yeah, with the parachute jelly. No, I would think part of Mashavan's setup would be like we had at the old place, a chemical style shower, which would probably work.
I don't know that I've had time to set up something that elaborate yet.
I mean,
Oh,
I
I
kind
thought
of
you
like
would've
the
just-
shoving into the water thing.
Yeah, parachute jelly fountain, here we come.
Yep. So Laundress thinks quick, and here's the the telltale sound. Grabs Laundress and kind of hucks him around the corner. Whoosh!
Mhm.
Yep.
And Laundress ends up floating
Washed out to
floating in the
sea.
ocean there.
Yep.
Um,
Stung by jellies.
stung. Yeah. So you're gonna have
Third degree burns probably somewhere.
Yeah, you're also gonna
With
have a
salt water
moderate.
on them. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You're also gonna have a moderate
That's gonna suck.
consequence.
Oh, not severe? Oh, wow.
But
Oh, okay.
all the linking books that you have on you are destroyed, either due to water damage or
No,
fire
that's
damage.
okay. We only lost one to the office. We have enough of those. Like,
Um,
that's-
Still,
So-
yeah, it sucks, but it could be worse.
yes.
There's also some fire damage to the actual area when you first linked in.
Yeah.
So because you are surrounded by trees.
What do the bugs think of that?
Oh yeah, the bugs are like The bugs do not like fire. Fire bad.
Look, guys, we learned something.
So you've got two relatively hurt people. You've lost a bunch of equipment, and you've got damage to your new base here.
Yeah. So Leah's gonna come back and be like, "What the heck happened?"
And that's where we'll close up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry,
Sitting
everyone.
at first aid.
So I absolutely love it. I love it so much because it's. I've been wondering for so long what that fourth box was gonna be, and I absolutely love what it turned
A
into.
very
Awesome.
dramatic way to establish it.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like the giant sinkhole as there's like this explosion underground, and then there'd be this great implosion, and all the sand dunes would be all shimmering and shuddering. And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How was it imploding
And it'd be
before
like if
Lantris
nothing
like
was
that?
Shai Halud.
yeah.
Okie
Oh,
doke.
man.
Well, that's what we'll stop for now. And when we start the next session, we'll all begin to tend to our wounds, and sort out what damage has been done both to the people and location.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
But we got the key, guys.
Got the key. Step one of 4. Dun, dun, dun. Yay!
Da, da, da.
Just like Rachel says in the
Everything
chat,
is fine.
everything is fine. We're all fine here.
That's Lander standing there with the linking book. Yeah, everything is fine.
But
At least it didn't lose a hand. I was a little worried that it was gonna be like boom, and you're like, well, the book's gone.
Yeah, my writing hand. My good writing hand. Oh boy.
Could have been worse.
It could have been. Oh, well, there we go.
okay, no. Well, thank everybody for joining us this week, this month. I am looking at the next one, should be the 4th of December.
Yes.
After that one, we may take a look at some of our scheduling because the next first Saturday is actually New Year's itself. So I'm assuming people are not gonna have other plans.
I have children. I never have plans.
Like,
Oh,
you're assuming
I know that
that's
feeling.
what you have
But,
plans.
so yeah.
your children.
So, but at very least, the next session will be December 4th. Also remember that I'm doing the Tuesday walkthroughs of Myst games mostly, but we're gonna
Yeah.
do. We just finished Exile, so we're gonna do something a little different before we get into Revelation.
Woohoo.
And also the Deep City lecture, which will be happening tomorrow, and which will learn some interesting things about Denis history.
What time,
Awesome.
Z?
Very exciting.
I think it's God I think it's 3 key time. But you'd double check the things that have been put out. It's in the announcements in the Discord, the Cyan Discord. And you can also find it on Cyan's Twitter and Facebook pages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Well, thanks again. And also, the obligatory thing, if you like what we do, down there is information about our Patreon and buy lots of Cyan stuff. Thank you very much. Shara?
Yes.
Everybody.